folks, it's been a while. I know. Last time me and Dylan was streaming, it was November, and these two teams couldn't look any more different from where they are now. But regardless, what's going on, everyone? This is Luca here from KnicksCast. I am joined by Dylan Backer of Fireside Knicks and also Empire Sports Media. I have his links down in the description below. But I just want to say what's up to y'all. This is our first streaming as well, as I mentioned, but also as well with this game. Obviously, we'll be doing the playoffs. I just want to mention that as well. Playoffs, we're going to have you covered. Recaps, we're going to have you for covered and all that. It's kind of the dog days as me and Dylan were just discussing in the pre-show. But regardless, without further ado, Dylan, your first thoughts.
Yeah, as you said, it's the dog days. We just want to get to the playoffs at this point, honestly. We got, I think, 8 games left in the regular season if you include tonight. And, these games are becoming less and less meaningful, especially considering that we are so much more separated from the Indiana Pacers for that third spot than we were a couple days ago. I think we're 3.5 up or 2.5 up, something like that. And with so little time left, they essentially have that third spot locked up. It seems like increasingly likely as well that we're going to end up playing the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round. So that would be definitely an interesting series without Damian Lillard for certain, but it's not no pushover either. They'll still have Giannis. But looking at this game with Philly tonight, Philly obviously is terrible this year, 23-52, and I saw their lineup tonight. Everybody is out. No Maxey, no Paul George, no Joel Embiid. For the Knicks, it's much the same story. I mean, they've been very good this year, obviously, so not exactly like Philly, but they don't have Jalen Brunson or Karl Anthony Towns tonight. It's going to be a lot of the reserves. I know Mitchell Robinson is getting the start tonight. I'm very intrigued to see what he does. I honestly think, too, that the Knicks starting 5 tonight is going to be a good defensive unit. DeLon Wright, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG, and Mitchell Robinson. That's a very good defensive group. You don't have one very bad defender on the floor. Now, of course, the downside, you don't have a super elite scorer on the floor, but we've seen Mikal Bridges have some games like that this year. We've seen OG Anunoby past 4 or 5 games averaging 30 points. So anything could happen. I'm still expecting a win, despite us being very, very shorthanded, missing several guys, missing all of our point guards, and of course, no Karl Anthony Towns. I still think they're going to win this game tonight, though. If they lose, I'm not going to be too upset about it. I kind of just want to get to the playoffs, but these games still technically matter because they haven't clinched that 3rd seed yet. So let's just get a win and get some of these guys some really good reps for the postseason. That's really what I'm looking forward to in this one.
Absolutely. Obviously, Dylan mentioned Sixers are a bad team. They're eliminated from the playoffs, 23-52. Long ways away from what they were in November. And it was funny because a lot of people drew comparisons in the offseason. The Sixers bench looks really good. The Sixers are adding Paul George. The Knicks are re-signing OG Anunoby. They traded for Karl Anthony Towns. They traded for Mikal Bridges. So many comparisons, but the Knicks just came out the better team this far. And obviously, we have yet to see what they do in the playoffs because we're not there yet. But before we get to any further discussion, I'm just going to introduce tonight's lineups. We'll start with the Philadelphia 76ers. So starting at point guard, we have Ricky Council IV. At shooting guard, we have Quentin Grimes, the former Knick. He's going to be an interesting topic of discussion. Small forward is Justin Edwards. Power forward, Lonnie Walker. And center, Adem Bona. Now, must I say, Dylan, some people from Knicks Twitter are bringing up Quentin Grimes and seeing, what could he done with the Knicks and all these different things, because Grimes is really starting to ball out with the Sixers. But I'm saying, no disrespect to Quentin Grimes, but this is on a losing team, and he's going to get the advanced reps, obviously.
Yeah, and I was just going to touch on that because, Quentin Grimes is a good player in his own regard. He had good times with the Knicks. He's had good times in his other stops. He was good a couple times in Dallas, and of course with Philly right now, he's been on a torrid stretch. I mean, he's been unreal. But he is getting the ultimate green light because, did you guys just see that starting lineup? Lonnie Walker at power forward. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to disrespect anybody on there. I understand that they're still NBA players. They still deserve to be on this roster and stuff. And Quentin Grimes has been doing his thing. So shout out Quentin Grimes. But for Knicks fans that were saying we shouldn't have traded him or anything like that, guys, hindsight is very 2020. At the time, it was the right move. I'm still okay with it. At the end of the day, I think we're still a great team. And I think even despite not having him on the team anymore, we're still very good without him. So that's really all I got to say about that. I don't think it's anything disrespectful to him.
No.
He's just got the ultimate green light. He's putting up 20 to 30 shots a night, which he would not be getting with Maxey, George, and Embiid on the floor. So, yeah.
Absolutely not. I think he's a valuable role player. But regardless, both centers, Bona and Mitchell Robinson, I believe this is his first start, if I'm not mistaken, of the season. So Billy Kennedy will put up the ball, tip is up, and the Knicks will get it as DeLon Wright will start at point guard, and he'll bring up the ball. Wright crosses half court, guarded by Quentin Grimes. Looking for a man, Finds Mitchell Robinson at the top of the key. Mitchell Robinson looking for a handoff. He finds Mikal Bridges. Bridges drives to mid-range. Inside. Pass is lost and stolen by the Sixers, but it's out of bounds on the Knicks, so Sixers keep the ball. And we'll eventually also get to a discussion, guys, about how this Jalen Brunson absence has been a blessing in disguise for Wingstop. That's going to be a great discussion to have. To the left side is Edwards. Edwards gives back to Grimes, defended by Anunoby, back to Edwards. Edwards defended by Mikal Bridges. One-on-one is Edwards, gives back to Grimes. Grimes one-on-one for Anunoby. Hands stolen right there by DeLon Wright. Each team with a turnover. Wright kicks. Bridges, three-pointer. Shot's no good. Rebounded and taken by Mitchell Robinson for the slam. Knicks open up.
That was good work by Robinson to get back down the floor.
Grimes was left to the screen, dribbles back, looks to hand off. He finds his man, driving the paint this time, kicks to Bona. Bona trying to post up, and this ball is stolen by OG Anunoby. So 2 turnovers already for the 76ers. DeLon Wright will bring it up. Gives to Anunoby. Anunoby's been on a hot streak, dribbling into the paint, fakes again, step through. Shot is no good, but a foul. He'll go to the line for 2.
OG's aggressiveness lately continues to be something really, really, honestly, it's very encouraging for me to notice at least. You know what I mean? Because the Knicks, obviously, in the playoffs, are going to be relying on Jalen Brunson a lot and probably a lot of Karl-Anthony Towns. You need a guy like OG to be just attacking the basket and trying to score at will. And what he's been doing lately, it's really a good sight to see.
First shot is good from the free throw line. I want to remark on that. And it was interesting because I was watching a segment from the Knicks Film School podcast, another great podcast. Macri mentioned that I think in the last couple of games, OG Anunoby has increased his drives to about 9 per game, in which he's scored a lot, obviously. And it's interesting because the last, I'd say 2 seasons, he's really gotten hot towards the end of the season, which is when you really need him to be, especially for the playoffs. But a call back to action. Bona goes inside past Robinson, but it's a foul, as Bona had a nice step on Mitchell Robinson, so Bona will go to the line for 2. But OG, I would also agree. I mean, this is synonymous with everybody. He's playing the best basketball of his career, in my opinion. Right alongside Karl-Anthony Towns. Absolutely. And obviously, there were some doubters a little bit towards the midway point where he wasn't having his best basketball stretch, but he found his rock. And as I said, it's a blessing in disguise, in my opinion, without Jalen Brunson. That's not a shot at Brunson. That goes to the same thing as Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is playing the best basketball of his Knicks tenure so far. So it's going to be interesting to see how these 2 pieces are utilized in the playoffs. The second free throw is missed, rebounded by Mitchell Robinson. Wright brings it up half court. Gives off to Mikal Bridges. Bridges looking for a man this time. Looks like the Sixers are going zone. Wright gives it back to Josh Hart. 8 on the shot clock. Bridges looking for a man. Finds Anunoby in the corner. Anunoby jab step or 2. 3-pointers up. 3-pointers no good. Rebounded there by the Philadelphia 76ers.
I didn't like that offensive sequence at all. Way too much standing around.
Grimes one-on-one versus Bridges. Kicks to the corner. 3-pointers up. 3-pointers no good. Rebound Mitchell Robinson. Wright looks in the Bridges corner. 3 shots no good. Rebound Robinson, but there's a foul under the basket. So looks like Mitchell Robinson will be going to the line for 2. Give me 1 second.
And he has struggled here for only around 40-something% from the line. This year clearly doesn't take a line. 7 of 11.
Robinson knocks down the first.
Does his free throws look better to you? Does his free throws look better to you, honestly?
I think so. I really do.
Very small sample size, but that first makes it 8 of 12 on the air. So
make it both free throws. He makes both. It's 6-1 Knicks.
Both.
Bringing it up is Edwards. Edwards hands off to Grimes.
He still line drives those free throws, but hey.
It's as long as he has a little bit of an arc. Grimes into the paint. Grimes, step back mid-range jumper. This time in and out, rebounded and tipped, and it looks like it will be Knicks basketball.
The game plan should be simple. Just don't let Quentin Grimes bury you, because it's clear that he's going to be getting the bulk of these shots. I believe Kyle Lowry is active in this game, but he's not going to play a whole lot. So it's going to be the Quentin Grimes show once again.
Sixers back in a 2-3 zone. Wright looking for a man to dish. Wright has that ball tipped out of bounds. It is Knicks basketball.
This game will not feature a lot of scoring, folks.
Doesn't look like it is this far. I like to see Wright dribble or penetrate a little bit more. I know it's a nitpick, but still. Anunoby from 3, got it. OG Anunoby from downtown.
Caught the man
9-1
sleeping.
Knicks.
Edwards was sleeping on that one.
Grimes, nice dish to Bona inside. Shots no good. Rebound Josh Hart, but a loose ball foul on the floor against the Knicks, so the Sixers will keep possession.
This is now the second injury-riddled team that they are playing in like a week because they played Dallas last week, I believe, and they didn't have Anthony Davis.
Yep. Plenty of players for them injured. Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Maxence Prosper.
For any Yankee fans out there, Jason Dominguez just homered off Corbin Burns. So
nice. Bona trying to post up Mitchell Robinson. Grimes turns the corner on Bridges. Looks, gives back to Council. Council, 3-pointers up, 3-pointers good. Josh Hart could have closed out a little bit better, but it's 9-4. Back into the zone. Now it's, I think, more man-to-man now. Bridges looking. He finds DeLon Wright. Wright stands still right by the Madison Square Garden logo. Gives to OG Anunoby. Back to Bridges. Bridges back to Josh Hart. Mitchell Robinson loses that pass, but gives back to Anunoby. Anunoby kicks the corner. Back to Hart. Back to Bridges. 3-pointers up. 3-pointers good. Mikal Bridges from downtown. And the Knicks have a 4 lead. Council looking for a man. He finds Quentin Grimes. Grimes will switch here on defense. Grimes, 3-pointers up. 3-pointers and air ball. As Walt Clyde Frazier would say, a UFO. Happy belated 80th birthday to Walt Clyde Frazier as the Knicks won against the Blazers. DeLon Wright has it. Right off the screen, looking, finds OG Anunoby, gives back to Mikal Bridges. Bridges looking. Mitchell Robinson going to set a screen to the right. He's going to go around. Bridges double team, nearly loses it. Gives back to Anunoby. 4 on the shot clock. Anunoby step back, high arcing 3-pointer. No good. Tipped out and a 24-second shot clock violation. I thought Bona had it out of bounds, but regardless.
That did not hit the rim.
It did not. I think you'll see a little bit more offense when Kolek comes in because he has just a different feel for the game. I think
the only critique I have of Kolek, I want to see him actually put the ball in the basket a little bit more, or at least try to. You know?
Sixers knocked down a 3-pointer here. That is Lonnie Walker, and it's 12-7 now.
Lonnie Walker back in the league.
Yeah, I think he was playing. Wasn't Australia. He was in Europe somewhere he was playing. Right, drives, kicks to Anunoby. Anunoby kicks back to Bridges. Bridges moving nicely, kicks back. DeLon Wright, corner 3. That's good. DeLon Wright from downtown. And the Knicks go back up by 8.
How about DeLon Wright lately, man? You know, he came in, hadn't played like really at all. And he stepped up. He stepped up. You got to give him credit.
He had a nice game against, as a turnover there. He had a nice game against Milwaukee, his former team.
Yep. Yeah, very good game against Milwaukee.
As a timeout is called. Now, let me ask you, on the subject of Milwaukee, who do you want to play in the first round? I have an interesting answer, but I'll let you go first.
Milwaukee. And the reason I say Milwaukee is because no Damian Lillard. I think the Pistons, I think the Knicks can beat them too very easily. Matter of fact, I think the Knicks can beat any of the teams that are below them. But I think the Pistons gave the Knicks problems this year. The 2 or 3 games that they've played against each other, the Pistons handled them. I know the Knicks smacked them in the beginning of the season, but this is a different Pistons team now than they were back in October. So, they're a much better team. I think Cade Cunningham, in his first playoffs, we don't know what he's going to look like. But at the same time, I think that the Pistons have role players that, will complement Cade well and that they'll, step up in the playoffs. I think I really, honestly, with the way the Knicks guard the 3, I don't want them to deal with Malik Beasley. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think Malik Beasley would kill them in a playoff series, honestly. With the way the Knicks guard the 3, I think the Pistons would give them more problems than the Bucks would, especially with the Bucks not having Damian Lillard. And I could even argue that I would have said this even before Lillard's injury because the Bucks do not defend at all, and the Knicks had owned them in their 3 games they played. I know the third one was without Damian Lillard, but the first 2 was with a fully healthy Bucks squad, and the Knicks blew them out both times by 30. So I'm taking the Bucks. You might say the Pistons, you might say the Bucks, you might agree with me, but I'm fully firm on saying I want to play the Bucks first round. I think we would just have such an advantage from a fan standpoint.
Absolutely, absolutely. I completely understand that sentiment. The Bucks, I think, are the easier opponent. Obviously, it's going to come down to those two, but I think the Bucks are the more likelier opponent, as you said. But I kind of like the Pistons matchup. I'm not going to lie. And I'll tell you what, you brought it up. A very young Pistons team. They do have some nice veterans. I mean, Tobias Harris, but again, when's Tobias Harris, really show up in the playoffs? You have Tim Hardaway Jr. You mentioned Malik Beasley, one of the NBA's leading three-point shooters. You have Dennis Schroeder, who has playoff experience. It would be a good way. I think it's interesting because, obviously you have the veterans of the Pistons. You have the young core. They have Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Ausar Thompson. It would be like you have a battle-tested team in the Knicks versus a young team. But also as well, I think, in my opinion, although the coaching matchup 2 years ago said different, I think Bickerstaff might test Thibodeau a little bit. I think the Pistons could take the Knicks for a ride a little bit. I'm not saying that the Pistons would win outright or the Pistons would win overall. I could see something like a 6-game series where the Knicks would just get tested by the Pistons. Because, and again, usually, well, I shouldn't say usually, sometimes or some of the case, the regular season is not usually indicative of the postseason. When you see these one-on-one matchups, look at the Knicks a couple of years ago against the Hawks. They swept them in the regular season just to lose in the postseason. It happens, but who knows?
Can't predict anything in the playoffs, so we'll just have to see what happens at the end of the day.
Bridges, right of the screen, passes deflected, gets it back, kicks back to Anunoby. Anunoby, corner 3, shots no good. Rebounded by Ricky Council. Council in transition this time. Dribbles it back. Driving on Bridges. Inside, count it. Nope, it's going to be just a foul. Ball rolled out, so he'll going to the line for 2. And I'm also interested, and you obviously brought up with Jalen Brunson, Carl Anthony Towns, they'll be the main cogs of the offense in the playoffs. I don't, as much as great as they are, I'd like to see some OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges reps because obviously it's playoff defense, slow pace, everything like that. Knicks play is slow pace, obviously, but why not include Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, like what you've learned this far without Jalen Brunson? Give them some off-ball reps. They're not. You didn't trade for first-round picks for Mikal Bridges to stand around. And I'm not saying it's entirely Mikal Bridges' fault because he's had some inconsistencies this year. But also you have OG Anunoby. You gave him $40-something odd million. Like, make him worth it. He's not just a defensive player.
Absolutely. No, yeah. And OG, he was very good in the playoffs last year before he got hurt. So I would like to see him involved a lot more. I really would.
That game, too, was something special before he pulled his hammy.
Yep.
That was like
he was on pace. He was on track for 40 or 50, and then he just had to pull his hamstring.
DeLon Wright drives into the paint this time. Nice dish to Mitchell Robinson under the basket. Good job there by Wright, penetrating the defense.
Good pass.
Grimes has it defended by DeLon Wright. Grimes trying to drive in, and he is fouled by DeLon Wright. Looks like it might have been an accidental trip.
Lots of fouls early.
It's a little bit sloppy. More so on the Sixers side because I think they have had the most turnovers this far. Something about Grimes, he's always had that quick first step.
Yep. Sometimes too quick, though.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the things that kind of hurt him when he was with the Knicks. I think he played too fast, faster than his mind would let him.
I completely agree.
And there's nothing wrong with having a fast pace to your game, but, the Knicks, as you mentioned, they play super slow. So when you're outpacing the team's offense, it's not going to work. It's not. You know what I mean? Quentin Grimes isn't exactly the kind of player who I guess can just corner sit because he clearly wants to be a lot more expansive. We've seen him try to drive into the paint all the time, attack the basket, be quick on his feet with the passes or, dribble penetrations, all that stuff. When he's standing in the corner and he's not getting the ball, what was really the point? The offense for the Knicks, when they're healthy, runs through Jalen Brunson, obviously. Yeah. We know how slow that operates. I know it can be nauseating for some fans at times, but it's a slow-paced offense, and it's been effective. I mean, they don't score in like total bunches, but they score a lot of points because they hit a lot of threes. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
mainly the defensive problems that are the issue. And I know Quentin Grimes gave us some energy on that end and all that stuff, but at the same time, you know, it's that kind of energy is replaceable, I think. And I think the Knicks have kind of proved that a little bit this year because Deuce McBride's been impactful. We've even got some good impact out of guys like Cameron Payne, Landry Shaman on both ends has found a way to be impactful. You know what I mean? I know these aren't like perfect pieces and stuff, and Quentin Grimes is a solid role player, but I don't think there's really a spot like on this current team, this current version of the Knicks is way better than when they had Quentin Grimes starting at shooting guard. It is. It's as simple as that. It's a
Oh,
way better
absolutely.
version, and it's even
Absolutely.
better when he was coming off the bench too. It's a better version right now. It is. I think this team's more talented. I think they're more battle tested for possibly making a deeper run, and who knows? We'll see what happens. But I'm not even trying to shade Quentin Grimes because he's been hooping the past month. He's been unreal. He has been efficient. I know I said he's got the ultimate green light, but he's still making them. You still got to make those shots. It's not like you're just chucking up everything and missing. So, props to him. I think he's really making a name for himself. And if he's still in Philly next year, then if they're actually healthy, maybe they'll be a decent looking squad. But right now, they're just trying to finish out the season. It's that simple.
Absolutely. Referees having a conversation. I don't know if the Knicks challenged or
They
not.
are. Yeah, they're
They are.
challenging the foul.
Let's see. Yeah, I think he tripped on DeLon Wright's right foot. No
He
pun
did.
intended.
They're probably checking to see if Bridges might have fouled him.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, Grimes wasn't consistent last year.
No.
I think that's what some people try to hide out. Grimes wasn't like a lot of people, including myself, expected him to take some sort of leap last year after, what should I say? After, the run he had in 22-23 when he was promoted to being starter in place of Evan Fournier. Like, he played really well that season and regressed the next. So,
Yeah.
and Dante DiVincenzo was there to replace him.
Yep.
So was OG Anunoby, so was Deuce McBride. So it was a whole collective.
There's too many guards that the Knicks have, and they're all talented guards. And, it's a good problem to have, but someone's got to be the odd man out. And it just so happened to be Quentin Grimes last year. And, I think overall it's worked out for them. And I hope it works out for Quentin and wherever he's made his stops, because clearly he's taken advantage of the opportunities he's given. So
100%. 75% free throw shooter. This is his fourth team, by the way. He went from New York to Detroit to Dallas to Philadelphia. Myriad of teams, no substitutions yet for the Knicks. DeLon Wright will bring it up. Gives off to Josh Hart. Hart looking for a handoff. Finds Mikal Bridges. Switched on to Walker. Anunoby defended by Grimes. Gives back to Bridges. Bridges on Quentin Grimes. Shot clock down to 7. 1-on-1. Finds Anunoby. Trying to find the mismatch. Anunoby inside is fouled and won. OG Anunoby with the mismatch. He will go to the line to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. Knicks having the force with this undersized lineup. Knicks, I think they're playing 4 guards, actually.
Yep, they are. Lonnie Walker was at the 4, I believe.
Yep, that is the case. Bringing this up is
very positionless lineup, so I'm just throwing it out there, but still.
Oh yeah, of course. Grimes defended by Bridges. You'll see some subs for the Sixers now. Kicks out to the wing. Walker versus DeLon Wright. Walker, high arcing 3, shots no good, tipped up and rebounded by Mitchell Robinson. And Josh Hart will try to run it in transition.
As these games continue, Robinson looks a lot more healthy.
Hart lost that ball out of bounds, but it was touched by a 76er last. It'll be Knicks basketball. But I agree with Dylan. Conditioning is only getting better as the aforementioned Kyle Lowry checks into the game.
He hasn't played since February 9th, by the way. This is his first game since basically the trade deadline.
Jared Butler also checks into the game, somebody who I liked at the draft at the time. Bridges' mid-range jumper, that time no good, rebounded by Quentin Grimes. He's going to push in transition. Grimes to the basket, kicks out. Three-pointer this time from Butler. Shots no good, tipped up, Rebounded by Grimes again. Grimes takes the mid-range jumper. This time, no good. Rebounded by OG Anunoby. Anunoby has it. Drives right. Anunoby inside is fouled, and he'll go to the line for 2. And I must say about the Grimes trade, some people see it as not a clear win, but not as a clear win. Some people see it as a loss, and I honestly gotta disagree with that. It's not like to pump up the front office, but at the time, you think about it. Bogdanovich came on toward wrong Bogdanovich, excuse me. Bojan Bogdanovich came on towards the end of the season. Imagine what he could have done if he hadn't injured his ankle. Mm-hmm. And also Alec Burks. Look how pivotal he was in the Pacers series.
Yeah, no, they got 2 key pieces out of that, and obviously they're not here anymore, but it was for the better of the team. This is the people will crap on this Knicks team all they want. I get it. They have their flaws. They're not a perfect team, but there's no denying that this is the best Knicks team in over a decade. It is.
Absolutely.
It's the most successful season that they have had since, the prime Melo and Amari days. So
it's really, you could say the past 2 decades, but newest substitution for the Knicks is Landry Shamet. Bono looking for a man. Grimes cannot get free of Anunoby. Grimes now turns the corner, kicks out. Jared Butler for 3 shots, no good. Rebound OG Anunoby. Wright will bring it up. Wright, 1-on-1 versus Butler, gives to Precious Achiuwa. He's also a new sub. Achiuwa spins, fires, misses, rebounded by Bona, and also touched his knee last. So it's Knicks basketball. Excuse me.
I wonder if Thibodeau will give one of these back-end bench guys an opportunity today with 4 guys out.
I mean, Kolek, obviously, but I like
to see Kolek will play, but
of course.
I'm more so looking at guys like
McCullough?
Who knows if McCullough or PJ Tucker even finds their way onto the floor.
Josh Hart drives. Josh Hart between 2. Kicks out to Shamet. Nice ball with DeLon Wright for 3. Shots no good. Rebounded by the 76ers, specifically Jared Butler. Walker on the drive.
Was good. Process was good there, just not the result.
Looking for man. Fakes the screen. Driving in. Grimes inside. Kicks out to the corner. Jared Butler for 3. Gets it to go.
I'm surprised Shamet didn't foul Grimes.
Yeah, I thought he was going to call for a foul there.
Grimes doing the Jalen Brunson, the whip your head back to try to get the foul.
Achiuwa looking for a man. Hands off to OG Anunoby. Anunoby drives left. Anunoby kicks to Achiuwa, and a bad pass stolen there.
That was a bad pass.
Walker drives inside. Layup is good. I must say, though, I think that it wasn't the perfect pass that time. It's just also Precious Achiuwa. I got to be honest with you. I hate when he drifts out to the perimeter because nobody's guarding him.
Yep. No, I agree. These Precious minutes have been rough already. And, I don't think he'll be in the rotation in the playoffs personally because you don't really have a purpose when you have Mitchell Robinson. As OG missed that 3, we needed that one. But
he nearly was fouled.
Yeah. But like I was saying, I don't think Achiuwa's going to be in the rotation when we're in the playoffs. I don't see it happening. I don't think he really fits with a lot of the lineups that Tibbs has been trying to run. We've seen Achiuwa try to be out there with Towns. It doesn't work. We've seen, for whatever reason, a Mitch and Achiuwa lineup at times. That doesn't work either. I don't really know where he fits on this team, and I don't think he's that good either. So
that's fair. I'm sorry to interrupt, Dylan, but I was also going to say, like, this current lineup, Josh Hart and Precious Achiuwa. You're playing.
Yeah, why are they out on the floor together?
3v5. You're playing.
I understand you're shorthanded. This is a different circumstance because you're missing a bunch of guys and you're basically missing your 4 best shooters essentially. But I don't. Even when they're healthy, we were still seeing Hart and Achiuwa together, which it makes no sense. You got 2 guys that refuse to put the ball up, and whenever Achiuwa especially puts the ball up, it's like a horror movie. Like, it's not a fun sight watching him try to take those pull-up mid-ranges thinking that he's like Dirk Nowitzki or something and then missing it and raising the front rim. Like, I understand Achiuwa wants to expand his offensive game clearly, and that would be nice if he could, but he just doesn't have the intangibles to do it. And we've given him a long leash. He was in the rotation. I know he missed the first 21 games, but he was back in the rotation when he came back because Mitchell Robinson still was out for another 40 games. So we've had a lot to see from him, and it's not been all bad. It's been
No.
good from him. He's usually pretty good defensively. I can always give him that. But offensively, he's such a negative that it hurts the team badly. It really does. I can live with the defense all I want, but when the offense is hurt that much with him on the floor, it's really hard to justify playing him because you do have to play both ends. This isn't like you can just rely on one end.
Yeah, right. With a foul there on the Euro step, he'll go to the line for two. Like this sample lineup that I'm seeing right now, you still got two non-shooters out there, and it's the Thibodeau belief: size versus spacing. He still believes in the size aspect.
You can even argue that right now there are three non-shooters because DeLon Wright doesn't really shoot that much. He's just only
No.
shooting because he kind of has to. But he's more of a facilitating and defense guard. So
I mean, this is like I'm not trying to play Monday morning quarterback, but this is kind of the same things we've seen from Thibodeau all year: the size versus spacing lineups, and obviously the NBA has evolved to a more modern facet where not everybody's worried about size. They're worried about facilitating their best shooters out there, obviously scoring higher points. It's the modern NBA; it's more offensive. But it seems that with some of these lineups, Thibodeau has just not evolved. I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm just trying to be realistic. Some of these lineups are just crazy.
they really are, and it's just in the playoffs, I think we know what the rotation is going to look like. You'll have your starting five, and you'll at least have Deuce and Mitch off the bench at the bare minimum, and maybe you'll see like a little bit of Payne or Shamet once in a while. But
Yeah.
right now, even when we trying to figure out who's going to get some extra minutes in the playoffs, like you can't run Precious Achiuwa in half of these lineups, so it's going to be impossible to get him playing time in the playoffs. It just is. You can't run him out there with Towns because it hasn't worked. You can't run him out there with Mitch because he can't shoot. You can't run him out there with Hart. It's a hard place, and for an undersized big, you want him to be more versatile offensively, and he's not. So it's just unfortunate circumstance for him.
Right looks, he's trapped. Gives to Achiuwa at the top of the key. Achiuwa looking for a handoff, finds Anunoby. Anunoby inside, and ball is stolen.
See,
as two
Achiuwa
players
cannot
in
be just sitting at the top of the key. He needs to be setting screens and getting rolling to the basket a little bit.
Butler
I don't know.
misses. Rebound. Grimes came out of nowhere. Hierarchy
Mm.
three from the corner. Shots no good. Rebounded by DeLon Wright.
What a rebound that was by Grimes. My goodness.
Anunoby to Wright. Wright looking to dish. Some nice defense there. Kicks to the corner. Precious Achiuwa. Oh my God, that was such a terrible pass. Grimes was expected. He was right
Telegraphed
there.
that thing.
That was like a Daniel Jones interception. That's terrible. And this is like,
My
I'm not trying to
goodness.
rant or anything, but like, this is the stuff. He should not be driving from the corner.
It's just an obvious pass. Even James Edwards of the Athletic, he said that was one of the worst turnovers of the year. What was that?
This is like Tibbs.
So silly.
We get it. We made Achiuwa into something. That's great. He was.
I can explain exactly what it is with Achiuwa. He doesn't look to score enough. He doesn't do it. Whenever he gets the ball, his eyes aren't looking at the basket. His eyes are looking towards somebody else. He's clearly not looking to put the ball up. He's not aggressive at all. He's not trying to post anyone up. He's not trying to do any of that. He's not aggressive. And that lack of aggression is what's causing the turnovers and the missed shots and all that stuff.
As
It's that
Grimes
simple.
goes right to the basket on Achiuwa. And again, Achiuwa, when there's a certain term that I use when Achiuwa goes out to the perimeter. It's like he spaces out like an NPC. He drifts away from the perimeter. That's what I meant to say. And it just hurts the offense so bad. It's like his role should be kind of like Josh Hart's. Shamet knocks down a 3-pointer from the corner. It should be
That's a player
setting
we can talk
screens.
good about. That's
Exactly.
a player we can talk good about. Shamet has been finding his groove lately at the right time. And Anthony Volpe just homered, by the way. That's 3 home runs in 4 games for him.
But overall, with the whole, Shaman, I will give him his credit. He's played better, and I've been somewhat critic because sometimes I feel like when he's not shooting, it's just like he almost is like a nothing burger. But of recent, I'll give him his credit. He's played well. But the whole Achiuwa thing is just like baffling. And I'm going to ask you this question regarding it has to somewhat do with Achiuwa, maybe not. Do you see Tibbs starting both Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson in the playoffs? Not
Honestly,
every game is specific
honestly,
matchup.
no, I don't see it. And the reason I don't, he never really put them together on the floor enough. I don't think we saw enough minutes of them together, and I think it instead of them starting as Hart got an and one,
Yeah,
nice there,
blocking foul
but
there on the Sixers.
but back to what I was saying, I don't think we saw enough minutes of Mitch and Towns together to where he's going to be willing to start them together, which is fair. I think it's fair. I think we're going to be seeing more so just like you'll see lineups of them together. But I think Thibodeau really wants to have him as the backup center in the playoffs, which that's very reasonable. I think against certain teams, however, I think we're going to need to see a lot more of Mitch at the 5 and Towns at the 4. Like for example, if we play Boston, you got to play them together a lot. You don't have to start them together if you really don't want to, but you got to play them together a lot. Boston has a lot of size, and they have a lot of shooting, and they have a lot of inside game. They have everything. You need to play them together because Towns cannot hold Porzingis, and I know Mitchell Robinson has struggled against floor spacing bigs as well, but I would like my chances more with him out there versus Cat. So I think if you face a team like that, or even Cleveland as well, you face Cleveland, you got to start the two together. We've seen Mitchell Robinson own Cleveland in the playoffs just a couple years ago.
Yeah,
You got to
Mobley
play
and
them
Jared
together to
Allen.
match up with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Those are two 7-footers right there. You have you have the wings to stop their guard play, but you have nothing inside. Because look what happened the last time we played. Cleveland, the first like 5 plays of the game were dunks. So that should tell you right then and there that the inside protection is weak with Cat at the 5. So whatever happens, but I don't expect them to be starting together. That's the bottom line there. I don't expect that.
And just for reference point, the Knicks Towns Mitchell Robinson minutes, they've only, as you said, they've only played little minutes, about 40 minutes. The net rating in those minutes for the Knicks, 12.58. 140.79 offensive rating, 128.21 defensive rating. So those minutes are a positive. It's just, again, they have to play more. And you said it, Dylan, it should be very matchup specific, in my opinion. Obviously, you don't want to see, Towns and Mitch and then have Achua as your backup center. That would be ridiculous. But also at the same time, I think there should be a conversation when the playoffs start. I don't think this will happen because we don't know what the health of his, the status of his health is, because he's been allowed. I think he's been out more than expected. Deuce McBride, should he be in the starting lineup? And I'm obviously a proponent of that case, because if you want to do a true 5-out in the playoffs, I think Deuce has to be the guy. We all love Josh Hart. We all love his passion and, pun intended, his heart and his, rebounds and the dirty work and all those different things. But Deuce, if you really want to run a 5-out, and if you really want defenses to keep an eye on, all options on the perimeter, so to where the paint is not getting completely shielded off and where defenders have to pay attention, I would start Deuce.
I'm a counter to that because,
okay,
I think Josh Hart provides all the little things like the rebounding and the extra playmaking that you need. I know he doesn't score a lot, but he is probably the team's second best playmaker, and he's probably the team's best or second best rebounder. You need that stuff in your starting 5 and the defense too. I know he and Deuce McBride aren't like a massive size difference, but Hart is very good off the ball defender, which I think gets underrated a little bit. I know his overall defense can be a little overrated, but his off-ball defense doesn't get talked about a whole lot. He's very good at that. So I think you got to keep starting Hart. I personally don't see why you shake up the starting 5 at this point in the year when you've kept it the same all year. I think it's best to just stick through it. As Shamet hits another one, Shamet is catching fire, which is huge.
Yes, he is.
But as I was saying, I don't think you really need to be shaking up the lineup at this point in the year. I think that by now we know what the rotations are going to look like. We know what the starting 5 will be when healthy. And, I think we learned a lot about this team during this time Brunson's been out, but they're still not perfect. They still have to keep their rhythm going, and they still need to be able to find that cohesion again with the starting 5 once Brunson's back, because you don't want, they might be getting very used to playing without him right now. So when he's back, you got to kind of relearn the offense again a little bit. Won't be a massive adjustment because you played 60 games with him, but still.
Butler turns it over right there. And I'll counter to this. If you don't say start Miles McBride, which is fine, you're obviously entitled to that opinion. I think you got a great point out of it. At least up his minutes. Minutes.
I will agree with. He can definitely be playing a lot more. I think he needs to be seeing the floor more. I think he's just been too impactful in too many areas. But either way, I think putting him in the starting lineup just doesn't do much because either way, Hart's still going to end up playing 40 minutes in the postseason, whether it's off the bench or in the starting five. He's still going to close the game too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So there won't be really much of a difference when you start him. And if anything too, I think starting him, you can even argue, would take more shots away from McBride because he's going to be playing with Brunson and Towns on the floor together, and those guys are going to be taking the bulk of the shots. So
That's fair.
You can make that argument too.
Foul is called on the Sixers right there. Could have been an easy transition opportunity, but looks like either a tripping call or something like that. So 38-26 Knicks on a very bad Sixers team that is facing a lot of injuries. Knicks as well. 10-18 here left in the second quarter. 14 on the shot clock. Precious Achiuwa grabs the handoff. A couple dribble fakes gives Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges drives in the paint. Bridges loses it, but it is out of bounds. Knicks will retain possession.
Not the cleanest basketball game I've seen.
No. And the score is pretty high for a non-clean basketball game.
Definitely.
Kolek looks in, finds Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges into the mid-range, kicks out to Kolek. Kolek open and cans the corner three.
And now they're quickly up 15.
Butler goes left to the screen from Bona, kicks to the corner this time. Driving in the paint is Walker. Walker inside. Nice floater job. I got to tell you, even though he's starting the starting lineup, I still think Lonnie Walker's an NBA decent role player.
I agree. The problem with Walker is that his defense is horrific. I mean, terrible. So it's impossible to play him in large spurts. But his offensive game is solid. I don't think his offensive game was, an offensive foul there. Knicks get the ball back, but I don't think, I don't think Walker's offensive game is bad enough to justify him not being in the league for almost a year. I think he's still a solid offensive player. But like I said, teams value defense, and when you are terrible on that end of the floor, it is impossible for you to get a lot of minutes. Look at Dalton Connect on the Lakers. One of my buddies who's a Lakers fan just told me that Connect is barely playing of late. I haven't been keeping up with the Lakers, but he said Connect's barely been playing. And it makes sense because Dalton Connect is a terrible defender. Great scorer, but a terrible defender. And when you have guards that can, do both things, Shamet pulled up a three there. I would have loved to see that fall. But
Sure. Here we go. Another turnover. I'm starting up. That's a second drop pass in the last minute. Great deflection there by Kolek.
Ooh, good steal.
Good steal. In transition. Inside shots. No good. They didn't call a foul there, surprisingly.
Wow, no foul.
Lowry. Transition. Inside. Bona is fouled by Tyler Kolek. But I thought
very chaotic sequence.
Yes. Yeah,
interrupted my points about defense.
As you saw a lot of defense there with some of the turnovers, but
either it was defense or just really bad offense.
That could be a mixture of both. But you made the point. If you as a coach, it's also true. If not every player is going to be great at defense, but also at the same time, is a player that's bad defensively, are they bad enough where you can't maximize the resources and hide the bad defensive player? Or is it, the coach? And it seems that obviously we can connect. Redick has no spot for him, especially if you have better shooters who play better defense.
Yeah. And I mean, look, the Lakers tried to trade him. So that should just tell you right there how they feel about him. They tried to trade him.
And he was highly touted coming out of college for his shooting.
Yeah. He was like a top 4 scorer in college basketball last year. So, it's a business, and teams value defense, and like clearly teams value defense. Look at the Mavericks.
Especially come playoffs. The Lakers are obviously in the top 5. Kolek inside draws the up fake and the foul. He'll go to the line for 2.
Look at the Mavericks. They value defense so much they were willing to get rid of Luca.
Exactly. Oh my God. That was something. That was something.
And then just for AD to, play 3 quarters and then suffer an injury that nearly took him out for the rest of the year. So
we talk about defense. Kyle Lowry just went right at his teammate Lonnie Walker as Kolek knocks down the first free throw. He's now chatting with Tyrese Maxey on the bench. Also, I think that is also Yabusele.
Speaking of sloppy play, this is sidetracking to the Yankees game, but I just watched the Yankees score 2 runs because of an error at first base, flipping the ball,
nice,
and overthrowing it. So,
Kolek knocks down the second free throw. And I'll ask you a question about Kolek. I think I'll know your answer, but I'm just going to put it out anyway. As the Sixers bring it up, OG Anunoby is at the scorer's table, looking, driving is Walker. Walker inside shot is good. Lonnie Walker continues to score.
Can't even act surprised that that's becoming an issue.
Driving is Kolek. Kolek kicks to the corner. Nice defense there by Quentin Grimes. Now shuts him off. Achua with a nice fake. Achua inside. Oh God, that was horrible.
We pick on. It may seem like we picking on Precious Achua on small plays that every player is making, but these are mistakes that we see too often from him. And
I'll admit, nice block shot by
that was
Achua right there. That's a good play by Achua.
And that was something they gave him credit for before. His defense has been very solid, but the offensive limitations, like that was a good contest right there on Grimes at the end of the shot clock. But the offensive limitations are just that much jarring. It's like two different players defensively versus offensively with him. And I know you're asking for a lot, asking for someone to be, great at both ends, especially when they're a reserve, not a starter. But, considering how much it seems like they try to give Precious Achua to play, he doesn't provide enough.
Shamet with a jab step. Nice dunk by Anunoby.
Good pass, too, by Shamet. Anunoby's definitely lead up there in the league leaders for dunks.
Oh, he has to be. Grimes
I believe he was like 7th or something like that, or 9th the last time I looked.
Travel on Lonnie Walker.
Knicks defense is tightening up, which is kind of ironic because Kolek is on the floor, so you would think that their defense would get worse.
I think he's I don't think he's as bad as people say. I think he's a serviceable defender.
I think he's active, but I think he's got good hands, but he can't stand in front of his man. He can't. Yeah. He can't stand. And you're asking for a lot. This is like a 6'1", 6'2" guard who's very small.
Yeah.
You're asking for a lot. So, you take that risk. But his offensive game is that good that it's able to give him minutes. And it may sound counterintuitive because of what I've been saying with Achua, but there's also a reason why Kolek isn't playing 30 minutes because he can't defend. So why should Achua be getting 35 minutes or something like that when he can't play offense? So
Bridges misses the mid-range jumper. This is rebounded by Lonnie Walker. He leads the team in transition. Walker is stripped at a foul.
I personally don't like seeing Achua sitting at the top of the key during offense. You need to be setting screens and rolling to the basket because he's a lot stronger than he thinks he is, I bet. He needs to be setting screens and getting to the basket and kind of giving their guys some better looks because when you're just standing around and looking to pass, it's not offense.
Yeah. The thing was, you mentioned a great point about the pick and roll and Precious Achua. The dude has, I don't know what I would call him, rock hands. You could call him rock hands because he can find the easiest pass and just like right out of his hands. I'd say the most jarring play of the regular season from Achua when they played in Charlotte. In transition, the dude's one-on-one. He backs away from the paint.
Don't remind me about that.
He just
play.
dribbles. He doesn't pass to Josh Hart at all.
I never got more mad at a play this season than that one.
I was like, bro, what are you doing?
PJ Tucker's reaction on the sideline during that play was me. PJ Tucker was on the sideline and he was like, he threw his arms up in the air and was like, what are you doing? That was me. I was like, what are you doing? At that point, I questioned if his head was in the game or not. Because that's just boneheaded. Like, even if there's a guy in the passing lane, just attack him at the basket. Like,
exactly. What's the worst you could do? You draw a foul, you get to the free throw line. But also another thing, he came off his screen. I want to say this was San Antonio. Airballed a mid-range jumper. It was like palm to face. I was like, oh my God, this guy is
or the few times he's pulled up a pull-up mid-range and it grazes the front of the rim because he thinks he's Dirk Nowitzki. Look, man, we're not trying to just make this whole stream crapping on Achua, but it's clear that he's such a net negative on the floor that, this is warranted criticism. I think it's warranted. I mean, I think he has good qualities. I think we've talked about his defense. His defense is very good, but the offense is it's like watching a high schooler. So, we just want to see better from it, and we've been begging for that though all season. That's the thing. If this was the beginning of the year and I was like, I want to see more offense from Achua, whatever. We waited out. We're in April. We're
Yeah.
in April. The playoffs are 7 games away, and we haven't seen really any improvement. It's a reason why we got rid of Sims. We didn't see any sort of improvement with Sims whatsoever in either part of his game, and he's gone. And oddly enough, his replacement, DeLon Wright, is out here making an impact when he wasn't expected to. You know what I mean? And credit to Jericho Sims because he did come in at times and make an impact on the rebounds and all that, and he's active on defense as well. But similar to Achua, 0 offensive game whatsoever. So
one of my biggest pet peeves with Sims was falling for the pump fake.
yeah,
It got so high in the air, and all the ball carrier had to do was just lift up his arm, up foul.
That's all you had to do.
Nice strip there by Anunoby. Stripped nearly again, but a foul on Tyler Kolek. I would say that's either his first or second. It was a reach in that time. 2 guests, by the way, at Madison Square Garden Celebrity Row, one of them being Steve Sharippa, obviously the Sopranos and Blue Bloods, and also new Jets quarterback Justin Fields. DeLon Wright checks in for Tyler Kolek after those fouls.
Yeah, Russell Wilson was at the Knicks game last week.
Yes,
he threw a signed football into the crowd.
Reese looks, gives back to Grimes. Grimes defended by Bridges. Knicks playing high up on the screen. Something I like to see them do more often. Grimes, Council, 3-pointers
defense
up.
By Bridges.
No good. Rebound Mitchell Robinson.
Very good defense by Bridges there on Grimes.
Right looking. Jab step. Anunoby loses it. Gives back to Mitchell Robinson. Back to DeLon Wright. Right off the screen. Right. Drives. Alley-oop. Nope. Actually, it was a drive to the rim. Shot's no good. Wright tries to put it back, but he's fouled again.
Hey, at least he got it back. I can give him credit there. At least he was able to get it back.
PJ Tucker just sitting on the bench. It's funny because I don't think he's played a minute yet for the Knicks.
Not meaningful. I think he played a garbage time minute, but that's it.
Right at the free throw line for 2. His first one goes.
And the Knicks signed Tucker, I believe, to a 2-year deal. So they must have really liked the vibes he brought.
It's either that
or they envision he's going to play next year.
Well, I wouldn't have even said that. I don't know what the salary is. Salary filler for a trade.
Could even be that too.
That's what a lot of people are thinking.
There's a different realm of possibilities, because I mean, at the same time, Achua is also a free agent. So who knows what their plan? Who knows? Yeah, exactly. So who knows what their plans are?
Grimes,
clearly though, they liked Tucker enough to keep him around the rest of this year. They liked him enough to keep him around this year. I don't know. I guess maybe it was yelling in Josh Hart's ear, but
yeah, tell him to shoot the ball.
Yeah, well,
but this
he said it differently, but I'm not going to say it on here. But he said it.
Another Sixers turnover. The Knicks have it. DeLon Wright will bring it up. Wright looking, goes left to the screen. Nice pickup by Council. Looking, gives to Bridges. Bridges with his screen left. Bridges drives back left now right. Bridges drives, fakes, kicks back to Shamet. Shamet driving, draws the foul, but it will be, looks like on the floor, not so much on the shot. I don't know if it's me or sometimes when I watch Landry Shamet mostly from the wing when he shoots the ball, it's like, oh, I think that shot's going to fall short. Nope, it's going to fall in. It's like one of those things. He has just sort of like an interesting jumper. Right. Bridges, 3-pointers up. 3-pointer is no good, and it'll be out of bounds.
Some very poor shooting in this quarter.
It's not like the Knicks haven't had opportunities if we're being realistic.
Getting the looks, just not the results.
Grimes defended by Anunoby, and double dribble.
Even worse offense from Philly, though.
Grimes, for the most part, has been locked up by OG Anunoby. He's had a few nice drives, but still. Here comes DeLon Wright off of the turnover. Anunoby looks to give to Mitchell Robinson. Robinson with a handoff. Looking. He's going to do some dribbling now, just still waiting. Anunoby still has it right up against Ricky Council. Mid-range jumper. Shots no good. And and a turnover.
Called a travel.
Might be, did he lift his pivot foot is the question. Probably.
He must have.
Lonnie Walker will bring it up. No points for the Sixers in the last nearly 4 minutes. Grimes against Anunoby. Grimes fakes and pass deflected out of bounds by DeLon Wright. The Sixers basketball. A real grinder, folks.
The Sixers will retain it. This is a really good defensive lineup out there right now for the Knicks. Yep, you can see they're focused.
Here we go. Looking in. Finds Adam Reese. 3-pointers up, 3-pointers good.
Reese knocks down the three.
Not exactly a player you hear of every day. 25-year-old out of Alabama. Looking, DeLon Wright, step back 2-pointer. He gets it to go.
DeLon Wright now up to 10 points.
Driving inside, shots no good. Rebound taken by Council as Mitchell Robinson lost grip. Alex Reese, not Adam Reese, my bad.
Credit to you for figuring out his name, because I have not figured out half of these guys' names.
DeLon Wright looks left, pick and roll, gives that to Anunoby. Anunoby on the wing, driving to the paint. Anunoby inside, try to alley-oop there for Robinson, but there's a foul, and the Knicks will go back to the free throw line as they are in the bonus.
If you like clean basketball, I suggest you don't turn this game on.
Yeah, it might not be a good idea. Mitchell Robinson at the free throw line made his first two the last time. And knocks down the free throw. Still line drive, but you see a little bit of arc.
He's making them.
Yeah, got to give him credit. He's making them.
He's making them.
Also, as well, the Knicks did release their playoff shirts. See if I can get one of them. Here's another name that has been inserted to the game. If I'm correct, I just want to make sure I get the number. I'm sorry. I almost thought Marvin Bagley. Marcus Bagley. Not Marvin Bagley. Marcus Bagley's in the game. Don't know if, there is relation there as Mitchell Robinson knocks down the free throw. 50-36, about 3:43 to go. Mitchell Robinson, 8 points and 4-4 from the line. Knicks blitzing the screen. Grimes kicks to the corner, pass deflected out of bounds by Bridges. Still a Sixer ball.
Good defense there in the passing lane.
And that's one of the things with Mitchell Robinson, and Karl Anthony Towns said this the other day. And you said you briefly agreed, even with Mitchell Robinson or without Mitchell Robinson, as driving in the paint is Council. Council pull-up jumper. This time he misses. Rebound taken by Bagley, and he throws it down. But I want the Knicks to play more aggressive in pick and roll coverage. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm kind of tired of the old drop coverage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We saw it. Look what happened in the Boston game. Every drop coverage resulted in a 3. Every time. It was like clockwork. Thibodeau will always be old school and want to play his big man in the paint, which I get. But this is a new NBA. You got to adapt to it and adapt to everyone shooting the ball.
Mitchell Robinson with a nice tip-in. He's got 10 points off the bench. I'm sorry, as a starter, excuse me. Grimes driving, looking. Grimes still dribbling. Anunoby right on him. Gives back to Council. Council defended by Landry Shamet. Gives back to Grimes. Grimes inside to Bagley, and DeLon Wright lost his man. So 2-pointer there. It's 52-4.
How about OG Anunoby's defense, though? He's giving Grimes fits.
Wingspan is a killer. Bridges off the screen. Bridges looking. Bridges step back mid-range jumper. No good. Rebound by Wright. Gives back to Shamet. Back to Bridges.
Good rebound by Wright.
Anunoby drives in the paint. Anunoby inside. Shots no good, but a foul.
DeLon Wright is having one hell of a stretch, I must say. I know he's not lighting up the stat sheet, but you know what other 4th-string point guards or even 5th-string point guards in this case are coming in, filling in for injured players and having this kind of an impact right away.
Yeah, I gotta say, who was our 4th-string point guard last year? Obviously, it was Brunson. It was Deuce McBride, who I basically said was not a point guard. I think he's more of a 2 guard. He can play alongside.
Yeah, it was
Was it
it
Shake
was.
Milton? Was it Shake Milton?
I guess it might have been. I mean, I don't remember who
We
because they didn't
also
have
had
like a they
what's
didn't
his
have
name
like.
for a minute. Hold on. They're trying to kill a
Well,
mosquito here.
the start of the year, it was Brunson quickly as the
Yeah.
2 point guards, and then but obviously in this case we're talking post OG trade.
Uh,
So
Malachi Flynn. We traded
Malachi
him to
Flynn,
Detroit.
and then he dropped 50. Evil Dante, as everyone called him.
Yes, Evil Dante. Sam Quinn of CBS released this, and I'm curious as to why he even put it out. Poll, just to take a temperature on two former Knicks before the playoffs. Who's better, Isaiah Hartenstein or Julius Randle?
Julius Randle.
That's what I would see. That's what I would say. But he says Isaiah
Is
Hartenstein.
that's a question?
That is a question.
Wow. I mean, Randall has obviously taken a step back this year, but that is disrespect to Julius Randle. My goodness.
Yeah.
Like,
To me,
Hartenstein's a good player in his own regard, but he is not better than Julius
no.
Randle. Come on now. He is not better than him.
He said and I think he said this seriously. He said his pick is Hartenstein, which I didn't really get.
Hartenstein is
Hartenstein's a
just on the
great-
better team and in a
Yeah.
system where he's able to flourish. So, I respect him for that. And like I say, he's a good player in his own regard, but let's be honest here, guys. Julius Randle is still a better player than him.
He was a 3-time All NBA, 2-time All NBA.
2-time All NBA, 3-time All Star, Most Improved Player, 25 point per game scorer 1 year with the Knicks, 24 another year. Not I know this year it's not in that same type of range, but still he's somehow impacting winning still. Because look,
Yeah.
there was that stretch the Wolves had won like 14 in a row with him in the starting lineup or
That's
something
right.
like that.
Yeah, they were on a hot streak.
Even if he's not dropping 30 points every night like he was in New York, he's still having a good impact. And it seems like he's figuring it out in Minnesota, which, I'm happy for. I'm happy for him. Hartenstein, of course, is doing his thing in Oklahoma City, but, let's not get carried away and start
come
saying
on now.
let's not get carried away and say that he's better
It's
than.
almost like recency bias, almost.
It's 100% recency bias, and you're purely looking at it from a scope of, oh, well, Hartenstein's on the better team and they're winning more. That's really where you're looking at it from.
So OG Anunoby's at the free throw line. As I mentioned in the early part of the show, I said that OG Anunoby's drives per Jonathan Macri have increased. I think it was like from 5 drives a game to 9 as he misses the first free throw. But this is the development you want to see from OG Anunoby. He's not going to be your primary creator, but at the same time, he could do a little pinch of dribbling, especially when he hits that mid-range jumper and does that funny little leg jerk when
Does
it goes
that little
up in
bunny
the air.
hop.
Yeah. But he knocks down the second free throw. I'm curious as well, not that he will have a role. We have not heard anything on Ariel Hukporti in a while.
No, we haven't. And like you said, he wasn't gonna play in the playoffs anyway. But I think the last thing we heard from Hukporti was like that he's still a little limited in what he can do, and that they're just taking it day by day. But I mean, he suffered a meniscus tear. I mean, that's gonna take a while. It's a tough take by OG there. Gets the steal and then the dunk in transition.
I would say either Bridges or DeLon Wright had the deflection there.
Yeah, whoever it was, good pickup by OG, and then get
another steal by the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson doing some dribbling, Euro step to the basket.
Hey,
play by Mitchell Robinson showing up his hoops. Wow,
what a play!
He took that in transition,
a one-handed Euro step,
unassisted inside. Mitchell Robinson with the shot block that time. Lonnie Walker gives back to Grimes. Grimes pull up 3 shots. No good. Tip in. No good. Tip in again. It's good.
Mitchell Robinson's having one of the best games of his season so far right now.
He's going to be like, Tips, give me the ball more. Bridges at the top of the key. Looking for a man. Finds OG Anunoby. Anunoby alley-oop and pass it deflected and went out of bounds. And they'll actually say it's Sixers ball. It was deflected. Might have been off Robinson.
That Euro step.
The left to right, back. The right to left, back to right.
That was clean. I cannot lie. That was clean.
Grimes and a foul called on Bridges. Don't know what he really did there, but Regardless, it's a foul. Knicks up 15, 57-42, 51.4 seconds left in the half. Hopefully we start reaching blowout territory by at least the third quarter.
That would be nice.
Give these guys a rest. Council looking. Grimes trying to get across the screen. Now it gives it to Lonnie Walker. Walker trying to back in. Walker kicks and throws it to his teammates on the bench. And that is a turnover.
That's 14 turnovers for Philly in the first half. Oof.
Mikal Bridges will bring it up. Mitchell Robinson comes with a high screen. Nothing there. Bridges goes back to his right. Bridges in the paint. Bridges inside. Kicks back to Anunoby. Tough contested. No good. Rebound. Tip out by Robinson. Gets it right to Shaman. Knicks have a fresh shot clock. Robinson comes with a high screen to the left. Nice job by the Sixers navigating that screen. Inside. Robinson is wide open. He throws it down.
Good pass.
Great job by the hedge on the screen by the Sixers. Just nobody came to rotate. Driving left. Walker inside. Looking. Puts up a shot. Blocked by Robinson. Final seconds. Bridges at the buzzer. No good. But at halftime, 59-42 Knicks. I think it would have been a great caveat. Or I should say,
Definitely.
I should say ending to the quarter if Mikal Bridges knocked in a three.
Especially if one from half court.
Exactly, at the buzzer. But at the end of the first half, folks, it is 59-42. Knicks on top. We'll start with takeaways, and then we'll go to the box score and look at all that. Dylan, your takeaways from the first half.
Dominant first half, especially. I mean, Mitchell Robinson, I think he's been like main star of this one. I know OG Anunoby is the leading scorer, but Mitchell Robinson, his impact on both ends has been unreal so far. You know, the offensive glass, the defensive presence, the paint protection, 14 points in the half as well. He's putting up some points. DeLon Wright had some very nice plays too. I was encouraged. The only guy that's really struggling as I'm looking at the stat sheet here, Mikal Bridges is 1 for 11, which is not ideal, but you know, when you're up 17, you live with it. You just, you know, hopefully you can just chalk it off as a bad game and just move on. I know we haven't really seen much from Josh Hart either, which, you know, you don't want to be seeing that considering that we're missing so many players, but at the same time, the impact from OG, Mitch, and DeLon Wright especially, it hasn't really hasn't mattered too much about those guys struggling. And up 17, I know the Sixers are extremely shorthanded, missing so many guys, but you know, you got to take care of business still. It doesn't matter how many guys you're also missing. The Sixers are a bad team, and they have nobody out there that's really like a redeeming sort of NBA level talent outside of like Quentin Grimes and Lonnie Walker. So take advantage, take care of business, and I think in the second half, I just need more of the same. And as you said, hopefully we reach blowout territory pretty soon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Reaching blowout territory. Again, with a pivotal stretch, obviously the dog days from clinching territory down to the playoffs get most importantly, you're starting lineup some rest. Hopefully these guys play well enough where the Sixers are not back in the game in the third quarter. You blow them out, you put them away easy. You get the young kids to play a little bit. Maybe we see something, obviously. I don't think we'll see much where Thibodeau's going to change the rotation, but just get these guys some rest. They need enough rest for tomorrow. They need enough rest for playoff time. Any rest is good rest for these guys for the most part, especially when you're winning. But overall, my thoughts, Mitchell Robinson, as you said, impacting both sides of the ball, offensively, defensively. Even that Euro step and that dribble was amazing to watch. But regardless, Mitchell Robinson continuing to have the impact that we all missed when he was hurt. 8 rebounds, 14 points. OG Anunoby finding ways to score, get to the basket. 5 of 10 from the field. 2 of 7 from 3. Not the greatest, but he's just making an impact also on Quentin Grimes. Grimes is shooting 3 for 9 right now. 0 of 4 from 3. OG's been the main defender. Give him a lot of credit. Landry Shamit's also been really good off the bench. 2 of 3 from downtown from the field as well. Mikal Bridges struggling. DeLon Wright has had a somewhat decent impact, very good defensively, facilitating 3 assists, but also he's done some nice drives to the basket as well. No real standout for the Sixers this far, other than Quentin Grimes, that being his 8 points, leading scorer out of the starting lineup and the whole team in general. But nothing much coming from Philadelphia, nothing really consistent. But that will remain as the score is 59-42. And real quick, I'll also go into some of the team stats at the halftime point. Knicks are shooting 43.9% from the field as opposed to the 76ers 37.5%. The Knicks are shooting 36.8% from downtown as opposed to the Sixers 20%. Knicks are shooting better from the free throw line 88.9 to 80. Rebounds, Knicks have control of that as well, 20 to 19. 11 assists to 9 assists for the Knicks to the Sixers. 7 steals for the Sixers, 6 for the Knicks. 3 blocks to 1 block for the Knicks to Sixers. Sixers have more turnovers, 14 to 10. They lead that. Fast break points, 8 to 6. Knicks are in favor. Equal points in the paint. And the Knicks also have their largest lead of the game, that being at 17.
And really dominant defense in the second quarter. Only 16 points allowed.
Yeah, that's good on them. Credit to, obviously, thankfully, we didn't see the precious Josh Hart lineup for much longer, but Mitchell Robinson being the anchor of the defense is what, as I said, what we all missed, and his impact is so real.
That Achua and Hart lineup needs to be abandoned and never ever reincarnated.
Packed away. I don't want to ever see it again, especially in playoffs. I don't want to see that in the playoffs.
If I see that in playoffs, I don't even know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, heads are gonna explode. But just to some out-of-town scores right now across the NBA, you have the Portland Trailblazers up on the Atlanta Hawks 57-54 at halftime. You also have the TNT game for tonight. I should say the 7:30 game. The Milwaukee Bucks up on the Phoenix Suns 60-57. The San Antonio Spurs are currently down to the Orlando Magic 50-47. 5:19 to go. Actually, 5:03 to go in the second quarter. The Chicago Bulls are up 57-46 on the Toronto Raptors. 4:16 to go in the second. The Golden State Warriors are up 52-43 on the Memphis Grizzlies. 8:34 left in the second quarter. And at 10 o'clock is the TNT game, the rematch of the Western Conference semifinals from last year, the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. Now, I asked you, Dylan, although we're obviously not Grizzlies fans, what did you think of them firing Dylan? I almost said Dylan. Why did I say Dylan Jenkins? Tyler Jenkins.
Taylor Jenkins. Yeah, about that. I was surprised. I was very surprised. This far into the year, I understand the Grizzlies have really struggled against good teams, and I know that they're, they've had their inconsistencies, but they're 44 in 30 or 44 in 29, whatever it was at the time they fired him, and that's a winning record. They're a playoff team. I was very surprised that they were willing to just, have such a significant turnover this far in. If you're thinking about moving your head coach on a competitive team, I feel like that should have been done in the offseason, personally. I wasn't exactly expecting such a move to be done in April or late March, whatever you want to call it. I was not expecting that whatsoever. But, at the end of the day, I think it just shows you that nobody is safe this year. Nobody. No. I mean, Luca Doncic got traded, for crying out loud, and now Taylor Jenkins on a winning team has gotten fired. I mean, nobody's safe. Everyone's job is at risk, it seems, and teams are becoming more and more willing to just turn things over like that, no matter what your situation is. So, we'll see how it pans out for Memphis, but that was a shock, and I feel like that could really shake up things in the locker room. I wonder, though, too, if there was something behind the scenes that we don't know about. Maybe that they, maybe there was bad locker room dynamics with Jenkins in there. Who knows? But something, I guess they knew something more than we did, because, Memphis, I was not expecting to do that. They've had Taylor Jenkins as their head coach for a few years now. It wasn't like it was just like one season. He'd been there for quite a while and had some success. I understand if they weren't certain he was the guy anymore, but again, I would have made that move in the offseason, but I'm not a GM. I'm not, in an NBA front office, so see what happens.
Yeah, Tyler Jenkins was previously an assistant under Mike Budenholzer's staff in Milwaukee and also with the Atlanta Hawks. But when it happened, I was same as you, Dylan. I was shocked. And I was reading under the comments and Grizzly fans were like, he had to go because offense wasn't imaginative. They weren't utilizing Ja Morant correctly. Also, as well, their defensive scheme was not great. and also the rotations were shitty. So essentially, that's like, I don't want to say most NBA coaches, but at the same time, that's like a good coach, not a great one. Because if we're going to be fair, and I'm not like, being super negative here, that's sometimes things you can equate with Tibbs. People have questions with his defensive scheme. People have questions with his utilization of players. People have questions with his rotations. So, and again, I agree with you. If you're going to make a move of this magnitude, you're going to fire him before the season, not during, especially when you have so little games before the playoffs.
Yeah, and especially when you're about to go into the playoffs. So now you got an interim coach having to kind of just jump in and try to get this team on a deep run, which is asking for quite a lot, to say the least. So, we'll see what happens with Memphis. Who knows? Maybe it jolts them. Maybe they go on a run. Maybe they fall flat in the first or second round. Who knows? But very stunning move, to say the least.
Yeah.
Very stunning. Was not expecting that.
So I'm trying to read into it. It says, "Oh well, they didn't believe that he was the guy to lead." I mean, that's the quite full obvious take whenever you fire a coach. Oh, he wasn't the guy. Well, obviously, that's usually what happens. Long answer is complicated. Centers on optimizing John Moran, and also they're also running out of time to find the right leadership. So it could be toxicity too. Let's call it what is that is a very young team over there. So, also as well, I'm reading this is per ESPN. I think Ramona Shelburne was saying something about it. Offensively, the Grizzlies had become something of a science experiment this season. Her words, not mine. Offering glimpses at how several radical concepts offensively from Europe and spacing principles found in hockey and soccer would work in the NBA, but also how difficult it is to get full buy-in from players to implement them.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to assume it was combined locker room, different, all those things.
Some sort of locker room dynamic was off, and they needed a change. That's at least what they felt. So,
and like, do this. I mean, let's call it what it is, because obviously they brought in a new assistant. He's been on the staff. It's just I don't know. I forget what his name is. I was just reading on it. How high is their ceiling, really?
I mean, that Western Conference is loaded. So, we can go down a list here of like what teams I think are better than the Grizzlies right now. You're looking at the Lakers. You're looking at, of course, Oklahoma City. I think Golden State has a better chance now even than Memphis because they have Jimmy Butler. So, that's three teams I named off the top of my head. They might be on like the same level as the Rockets, maybe even a step lower. They, where else are we looking at? You got like Minnesota, all that stuff. So I mean, who knows? I think really though, when it's all said and done, I don't think they're the favorite in the West. I think they're far from a favorite. I think they're a very good team in the regular season, not quite to the NBA final level yet. And you could argue that the Knicks are in that same exact category right now because the
Yeah.
Knicks have not been able to handle Boston or Cleveland at all this year. So, I'm not even trying to be like, not transparent here because I understand we cover a Knicks team that has plenty of flaws on its own and has their own problems and that we do acknowledge. But at the same time, we're looking at these other teams and, when it comes to the Grizzlies, good team, but plenty of flaws. I think with or without Taylor Jenkins, it was going to be an issue for them in the playoffs. And
Yeah.
I don't think much is going to change. I think they honestly are getting desperate and hoping that a coaching turnover will spark them, but it can also be a shock for some of those guys too, especially if they actually did get along with Taylor Jenkins and they didn't, and we don't know that. So, me personally, I never was a fan of big coaching changes during the season unless your team
Yeah.
was just. I'm not a fan of a coaching change during the season unless your team is just that bad. Like if you were like Detroit Pistons of last year bad, okay, yeah, you got to get rid of your coach. But if you're in the position where Memphis is, where they're a good team, they have good roster, good players, and maybe they're a step below like the top of the top, but they're still in contention. I was shocked about
Yeah.
making a coaching change in that situation because like you never see that. Usually you see something like that in the offseason where like for example, the Raptors, Dwayne Casey winning Coach of the Year and then firing him the same offseason.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's stuff you see in the offseason, not during the season. Like, could you imagine if look what happened with the Bucks last year? They
Right.
fired Adrian Griffin when they were 30-13. I understand that there was a lot of different issues in the locker room, all that stuff, but they were 30-13. They were winning games. They were looking like, one of the best teams in the NBA. They hired
were
Doc
like-
Rivers, and then they go under 500 the rest of the way and end up getting knocked out in the postseason. Granted they were hurt, but still they lost in the playoffs. And this year, even if they were healthy, I wouldn't have trusted them anyway. I can't trust a Doc Rivers led team. I can't. No, there's the track record of Doc Rivers is so, like, at least post 2008. So looking past the 08 ring with the Celtics, the track record for Doc Rivers is so poor that I just can't trust it. Like, did you see that quote like a week ago where Doc Rivers said that he doesn't get enough credit for
oh my God, that
for
was
winning
so
the 3
horrible.
games and then blowing them? Like, are we serious? Are we serious?
He's like one of those people who, he won a championship in 2008 with the Big Three in Boston. It's like he wins once, he does not know how to act. For several games, several series he's choked. And just for reference, real quick before we go back to the game, the reason why they fired Griffin is because Giannis had no trust in him, even though he picked Griffin over Nick Nurse. And they originally brought in Terry Stotts with Griffin as a backup in the event Adrian would get fired, but Stotts stepped down after I think he got into an argument with Griffin.
Yeah, and like I said, if Adrian Griffin was causing issues, I understand, but the team was winning games, and then they settled for a name rather than a guy who's a good coach. They settled for the name in Doc Rivers because it's a recognizable name. And they think it's someone that can really elevate them. But we've seen just how bad they look with Doc Rivers. So, for those who want to give Tom Thibodeau crap, at least this team wins games. And the players love Tom Thibodeau, by the way, and I think that matters a lot. So
yeah, of course, it depends on who you play for. Is nice bucket there from the Sixers as they open the half. Mikal Bridges will bring the ball up, and even though I do have my characteristics, my flaws with Thibodeau and my gripes, I will always say that he's better than Doc Rivers. Always. And nice cut to the basket by Bridges inside. Off the glass.
No head coach is perfect. Every coach has their flaws. There's issues with every coach. No fan, you can't make the fans can't be always happy, okay? And especially in Knicks fans, they're never happy. Let's be real here. They're never happy. So, however it goes is how it goes, and yeah.
Pick and roll there, run to Bona gets it to go. It is 61-46. Delon Wright will bring it up. Wright goes to the right. Anunoby's wide open. Anunoby inside double team. Mitchell Robinson with the feed. Inside shot's no good. Retries it, no good. And it is picked up by the Sixers. Grimes in transition this time. Lays it and gets to go. And a timeout immediately called by Tom Thibodeau.
Reasonably so. And Grimes looks hurt. Looks like he hurt his wrist.
I think it was on that fall.
Looks like he'll be all right. He's just shaking it off.
Yeah, they looked a little slow to get out of the half. Again, folks, if you haven't already, if you're new here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Turn on the notification bell so you know when to go live or drop a new video. Again, we're streaming here. We're going to have you covered for the playoffs. It's going to be a fun ride to the playoffs. Hopefully the Knicks go on a deep run. We'll see what happens. Oh, maybe we throw in a little playoff preview as well. And another thing I just found on Twitter, Dylan, obviously, it's April Fool's Day. People will, throw jokes out there. Random college athletes decides to post LeBron James, Notre Dame, forward 2003-2004. Meanwhile, he never went to college.
Yeah, for anybody that does follow Fireside Knicks, I apologize for my Tom Thibodeau April Fool's prank that fooled some of y'all. If anybody does follow Fireside Knicks and they saw it on Instagram at midnight, yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. had to do it, man. Had to do something for April Fools, man. I could have said
Absolutely.
Melo was coming out of retirement instead.
That wouldn't be
but
believable.
I don't know if as many people would have believed that as Thibodeau getting fired.
Yeah, that was.
Had to have a little fun once in a while, man.
Of
Right?
course. And there's a lot of things like you can't take seriously. Obviously, right
The
now.
moment I opened up Instagram at midnight last night, I think I saw 3 posts that said Jalen Brunson was out for the year.
Yep,
So,
I saw that as early this morning. I'm like, oh my god, like that's like one thing that I don't want. I'm just not a fan of that. Not that it's saying like they're saying in bad faith. Obviously, it's an April Fool's joke, but like, do something else.
yeah, change it up a little bit. Nobody had said anything about Thibodeau, at least when I posted it.
Exactly.
I know I saw someone else do it too, and I expected that. But gotta have a little fun.
And another thing as well is there's a huge Giants Twitter controversy that supposedly, again, allegedly, Bobby Skinner would be leaving Talking Giants. I don't know if that's real or not.
Yeah, I'm not full. Thinking about the whole April Fool's thing, I wonder, but who knows? But I did see that though. I did see that.
So Grimes a little hurt, grimacing his wrist a little bit, as the Knicks will bring it back up. Mikal Bridges defended by Lonnie Walker. Wright has it at the top of the key, defended. Kicks out to Josh Hart. Hart defended by Quentin Grimes tightly. Hart looking to dribble, finds OG Anunoby. Anunoby 1-on-1 versus Grimes, 5 to shoot. Anunoby inside, and the turnover there as it's picked up by the Sixers. Inside goes Butler, and this is thrown to absolutely nobody but the Knicks. It's a turnover. Here come the Knicks now. Josh Hart in transition. Kicks to Anunoby. Anunoby drives. Anunoby inside. Shots good, and the foul.
Tough shot.
Went right into the chest of the defender. He'll go to the line to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. High off the glass that time.
7 straight games, he's had 20 or more. As he now has an even 20.
And he misses the free throw, rebounded by Quentin Grimes.
Missed another free throw after his brand new previously.
Hand off that time. Driving the basket. Walker. Actually, that wasn't Walker that time. Mid-range jumper misses. Rebound Mitchell Robinson. Josh Hart has it. Hart looking for me.
Robinson with a double-double already.
Oh, nice. Anunoby in the corner. 1-on-1 versus Grimes. Anunoby kicks out Josh Hart. Back to DeLon Wright. 9 to shoot. Wright looking. Trying to get him off his heels. Right into the paint. Fakes. Trying to find a shot. Tough shot that time. Way off. Rebounded by Bona. Grimes has it. Goes right. Now switched on defensively. 1-on-1 this time. Bridges being on the defensive side. Handoff, and that should be an illegal screen. They don't call it, and knocks down a 3. That should have been an illegal screen right there.
Yeah.
63 to 50 now. Robinson hands to DeLon Wright. Wright. Now Robinson going to set a screen for Anunoby. Anunoby drives left. Anunoby. Step back. High arcing mid-range jumper. No good. Tip up by Robinson. This time no good. Robinson, and they're going to say basket interference on Mitchell Robinson.
Just too tall.
Too tall.
Just too tall.
Robinson, second and third opportunities, working diligently trying to get the hoop.
Bring it up this time is the Sixers.
Huffing and puffing sometimes going up and down. Born on April Fools.
Jared Butler to the right. Butler pick and roll situation. Anunoby with the deflection, but out of bounds. It'll be Sixer ball.
Anunoby has been in the top 10 in deflections.
He needs to be, folks. He needs to be considered for Defensive Player of the Year. Not that. Excuse me. Let me back that up. Not Defensive Player of the Year, maybe, but I meant to say all defensive team.
Definitely, and I think he will make an all-defense team.
He has to. He's played the 65 games. Give him his credit. For the most part, he fought off the injury-prone allegations, but but a great block by Mitchell Robinson right there. Tip on Quentin Grimes' shot. Had to be denied there. Wright gives it up to Mikal Bridges. Bridges has not had a great game this far on the offensive end. Hart still on Wright. Wright gives back to Hart. 8 to shoot. Mitchell Robinson comes to the screen to the left. Hart drives, looking. Hart picks up his dribble, pull-up jumper this time. Shot's no good. Tip up by Robinson, no good. And out of bounds, it'll be Sixer ball.
Robinson is just owning them in the paint, by the way.
Every time shot goes up, his hand is always on the ball.
The Sixers will bring it up. Well, the most minutes he's played so far this year is 20.
Here come the Sixers now. Walker off to the left. Walker on the drive inside. Bona is shot's no good, but a foul on Mitchell Robinson.
Second foul. This is a weird game. Look at that. These guys are only a run away. Like the Knicks have dominated the entire game.
So far, we are not heading towards blown out territory.
So Bona tonight, 6 points and 3 rebounds. Born and raised in Nigeria. Grew up playing soccer.
Bona at the line for 2.
He's 13, and that's when he started playing basketball.
First shot is up. First shot is no good.
Good foul.
Very agile. He's played 52 games in his rookie year. This is his 5th start.
Bona knocks down the free throw. It's about a 12-point game now from what was 17.
Free throw right there.
DeLon Wright will bring it up.
Entire game.
Bridges has it. Bridges off the screen from Robinson. Bridges into mid-range pull-up jumper. This time gets it to go. The only shot he made was off the cut. Steal by DeLon Wright. Shots blocked by Bona that time. Walker has it. Gives off to Butler. Butler off the screen. Pick and roll. Alley-oop that time to Bona. Nice deflection by Mitchell Robinson. Here come the Knicks in transition. Hart drives inside and loses the ball out of bounds.
I've seen cleaner games.
I think we all have.
I've seen cleaner games.
I called the game last year where I think the Knicks lost like 86-80 or some crap like that.
Oh God, that one. Ugh.
Like nobody could get hot. I was like, "What am I?" Like I was calling with my friend, and
That was the game Achua took the corner 3 in crunch time.
yeah, that was not a fun one. That was not pretty. Nor is this game. Is it if you're a modern NBA fan and you like offense, not the game to watch.
Yeah, don't turn this one on if you really like offense, because yikes.
If you like defense and turnovers, sure, this is the game for you.
Right.
That's right. You see what we did there. $250. All right. Time for the next song. That's right. All right.
This has been quite the grinder, folks.
Steph Curry has 32 points at halftime.
Fun. Looks like he's going to dominate again.
He hit 8 threes in the first half.
Yep. Sounds like Steph.
And look, and guess who they're playing? The Memphis Grizzlies.
Exactly. I remember that was a what was it? It was a no, it wasn't. It was a first round matchup a couple of years ago. And the Grizzlies actually ended up winning, I think, if I'm right. No, actually. The Grizzlies beat them in the play-in. That was the year the Bucks won the championship. And then the year after, I think it was Damn, now my memory is like completely flaking because I think Golden State played them again and then the Golden State beat them. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But I just remember more than one matchup. Yes, we mentioned Steve Sharippa, also Celebrity Row.
Actor Elvis Hodge is here tonight.
And Fat Joe.
Fat Joe visiting once again from the Beastie Boys. Shadow Horowitz. Questlove.
Where's Tracy Morgan at, man? We haven't seen him since his
Since he
little
got sick.
incident. Yeah, we haven't seen him since
Where's
the.
there? Yeah, there you go. There's Justin Fields.
There he is.
Where's our action, Robert Strickland's here.
Is that John Calipari? I think it is.
Close that one down. But I've recommended to over the years.
DeLon Wright will bring it up at 65-53. Bridges has it. Bridges right up against Grimes, takes him to the basket inside. Good layup over the leap
Nice.
of Bona.
Bridges is starting to get going, and that's encouraging.
On the drive this time, Walker kicks to Grimes. Grimes fakes. Grimes kicks out. This time back to Grimes. Grimes kicks to the corner. This is Bona. Hands off, and that should be an illegal screen. It's an offensive foul on Bona.
And it is.
Kind of pushed his behind out and knocked down DeLon Wright.
That's his third foul. Wright creates havoc on the defense. We saw the steal, but he didn't finish. But always around the ball, creating mayhem. And he's got him a start.
Oof. A fan that was doing one of those little in-between contests or whatever at the Hawks game blew his knee out.
Ooh, I would not be want to be that person. Anunoby 1-on-1 versus Edwards. Anunoby had it stripped and stolen by Grimes, and Josh Hart with the foul. Is that going to be a take foul? Is the question.
Right across the arm. Is that going to be a transition take foul? Anunoby looked like he got fouled.
I'm not going to lie to you. It kind of did look like a take foul.
Yeah.
That's kind of a dumb play by Josh Hart. Because now obviously the new rule for the last few years now is free throw and possession.
Free throw and possession. Hard, a little overzealous, sending Grimes to the line. 10 points.
And knocks down the free throw.
Double figures. All the sixes with a plus minus.
Anunoby thought he was fouled, but Josh Hart would just commit a worse foul.
Foul.
Grimes hands off to Edwards, back to Butler. Butler defended by Anunoby. Screen to the left. Butler looking. 1-on-1 versus Bridges. Butler inside. Couple of fakes inside. Layup is good.
Tough take. I'll give him credit there. That was a good move.
I don't know if it was me. I kind of just saw Mikal Bridges limping a bit.
He'll be all right.
Anunoby finds Mitchell Robinson. Handoff back to Anunoby. Anunoby inside. Blocked by Bona. Out of bounds that time.
Philly got a little more pep in their step, in the words of Clyde.
Continue to hang around. Let's take a look at Bowman. Doing a good job with the left hand, impeding the way of OG.
Looking is Bridges. Bridges, couple of fakes. Back out to Mitchell Robinson, 7 to shoot. Mitchell Robinson looking for a handoff. Can't dribble anymore. DeLon Wright in the basket. Inside kicks Anunoby. Corner 3. No good. Rebounded by the Sixers. Here comes Lonnie Walker. Inside to Grimes. Grimes inside. Shot's good and gets it to go.
And it's a 9-point game just like that.
Suddenly, it's a 9-point game. Yeah.
See, you never should like, and that's a foul there by Bona. You should never like when Mike Breen says, suddenly, it's a 9-point game.
5 minutes. Not a good foul. Foul Robinson on the perimeter, 24 feet away. Second team foul. Achua and Shabbat come in. And Anunoby's going to
Achua and Josh Hart minutes. That's what we need. We don't need more we need more defense, not offense. We're going to be playing 3-on-5 now, everybody.
He's hurrying out of the game, holding his thigh. So we'll keep an eye on that. Yeah.
Still don't like these minutes, but whatever. Shamit with a handoff to Achua. Achua looking for a handoff. Still looking. Good defense from the Sixers. Good ball denial. Hart 1-on-1s. Gives back to Achua. Achua against Reese. Achua backs in. A couple of fakes inside and foul. I thought he nearly traveled for a second.
He definitely traveled. He went one way and then went back the other way. I don't know how he didn't travel.
Precious, not so precious. Achua, a 60.3% free throw shooter this year. And his first free throw is a front rim, no good. Get somebody who loves you just as much as Tom Thibodeau loves the precious Josh Hart minutes. Gross.
Maintain that production in limited minutes. Yeah, that's the thought we were.
Absolutely gross. When you miss one free throw, you can't. You got to miss both free throws. Grimes has it. Hands off that time to Lowry. Back out to Butler. Screen set by Reese. Into the paint. Butler falls down. And a foul is called on Bridges.
And they call the foul on Bridges. Butler had nowhere to go. Bridges bails him out.
I think Bridges was a tad overzealous that time trying to grab the ball. Might have leaned over on him by accident.
See the frustration on Bridges' face.
Looking as
Very
Lowry
frustrating third quarter, to say the least.
Trying to get inside of Wright. Butler kicks back to Lowry. Lowry fakes. Lowry draws the shot, but no, it is a foul, but not on the shot.
As soon as he felt the contact, he went into the shooting motion. He just went to Big Burkert after arguing the call and said, good call.
Looking, he finds Alex Reese off the inbound. Finds to Lonnie Walker. Walker drives with his left inside. Layup is good. Now it's a 7-point game.
Really bad defensive effort this quarter.
The energy just seems slow. I could be wrong, but
No, it's very slow.
Josh Hart to the basket inside Achua. Achua inside. Can't make a simple pick and roll. He gets the rebound, though. Achua looking, defended by Reese. DeLon Wright, 6 to shoot. Wright goes left to the screen. They're going to blitz him. Wright has to pull up a shot. Achua inside. Shot's no good. Tipped up. Rebounded by Lowry. Lowry. One-on-one versus Josh Hart. Screen coming. Lowry drives left. Lowry fakes. Pass nearly tipped by Shaman out to Jared Butler. 9 to shoot. Butler versus Shaman. Butler fakes. Pull-up jumper. No good. Taken by Reese. Kicks out to Lowry. Back out. Wait to the wings. Here comes Walker. Walker inside. Layup is good.
5-point game.
This is terrible. This is horrible. Bridges drives into the paint. Shaman. Corner 3. Gets it to go. Landry Shaman from downtown.
Big shot by Landry.
Opens back to an 8-point game. Grimes inside. No good, but a foul.
Oof. Late whistle.
That was called a blocking foul, I believe, but terribly late whistle. It's almost like they waited after. No, they did wait till after Grimes missed it.
Very, very late whistle.
Grimes at the free throw line for 2, about a 75% free throw shooter, and he misses the first.
Ball does not lie.
Oof. Yeah, Dylan, I just watched the guy blow up his knee.
Yeah, that did not look good, man. I hope that man's all right, honestly.
I hope they clean the court.
All right.
Tyler Kolek comes in as a substitution, hopefully to change something with the offense. Kolek, defended by Council. Bridges defended tightly. Has now it's a stolen pass and a easy dunk for Quentin Grimes. Great defense from Grimes.
Bad pass from Kolek, though.
He knew he was trying to force it. Kolek drives left. Kolek inside. Looks. Fakes. Couple up fakes. Kicks to the corner. Bridges for 3 this time. Gets it to go. Mikal Bridges from downtown.
Feed Mikal. He's found it this quarter. Feed him.
Grimes driving left with Shamet. Grimes backing down. Turns. Fires. No good. Rebound Josh Hart. Hart in transition. I thought Achua was open for a second. Hart inside gets the transition bucket to go. Back
Got
to a
the points
10-point
anyway.
game. Council drives on Bridges inside. Layup is good.
Tough take. You could tell Bridges was annoyed that he didn't get the stop.
Kolek driving pick and roll. Achua loses the ball out of bounds, but it will remain Knicks ball. Don't ever trust Precious Achua with the ball in his hands while rolling. It doesn't like you brought up a great point with the whole pick and roll thing. That's the simplest way to utilize him. He can't even handle the ball correctly. I'm sorry. Shamet 3-pointer. Wow, what a shot from Shamet.
Landry has found it lately, and it's really coming at the right time. And he might find his way into some playoff burn.
As he nearly strips Grimes there. Pick and roll situation. Reese with the screen. Grimes pulled back. Mid-range. No good. Tipped up. Rebounded by Achua. Here comes Mikal Bridges. Bridges with a screen from Shamet. Bridges one-on-one. Taking Grimes to the basket inside. Looking. Kicks back. Oh, that was an awful pass over the head of Josh Hart.
Ooh.
It is Sixers basketball. Great. I would say solid play because technically you're taught not to jump in the air while you pass, but even more poor execution. But I think he had the right idea in mind. It's a timeout now. Whew. Kyle Lowry's for some reason arguing with the referees.
April Fool's Day, and way back in 1997, 28 years ago.
This has been a reminder of a game. I'll keep repeating that.
Regarding Clyde Frazier coming out of retirement.
Yes, Clyde working in the weight room and shooting.
Yeah, the April Fool's prank
Yes,
made it seem like he was coming out of retirement.
Scott Brooks, I think he got cut, and then Clyde Frazier was supposedly signed. Scott Brooks, one of I'd say not many, like a decent amount of NBA coaches who have played for the Knicks, and especially in the modern era, as in coached wise. Rick Carlisle, Scott Brooks, Jason Kidd.
I wish him well. But
Yep.
all I gotta say is one thing. I hope I get picked up by a team who play the Knicks in the playoffs, and I can show what they could have had.
But they were all in on it.
Plenty of garbage.
Plenty of garbage.
The player we said was cut with the signing of Paul Frazier. It was so well done. The crew did an unbelievable job. Everybody was involved.
Wow.
Just
Wow.
Mike Patella was the coach of the
Oof.
team. Took the baby in it.
So here we go. Back off and inbound. Lowry looking. Finds Quentin Grimes defended by Shamet. Grimes. Screen coming from Reese. Grimes pulls back to Reese. Reese pick and pop and gets it to go. Alex Reese from downtown. Undrafted free agent from Alabama from 2021. He's spent his last few years with a couple of teams. Bridges. One-on-one. Goes left to the screen. Bridges in the mid-range. Looking. Can't find a man. Finds Shamet. Shamet with a pump fake. Gives to Hart. Hart into Achua. Achua nearly lose it. Shamet misses the three. Rebounded by Reese.
Suffocating Sixer D.
Knicks had the right idea by putting the ball in Bridges' hands that time.
Give him a lot of momentum right now. Knicks can't foul.
Kolek versus
Get a stop
Lowry.
here. Get a stop here before the fourth.
Lowry always
Switch on to Achua. Lowry to the basket. Lowry looking. Inside. Kicks. Council. No good. Rebounded by Hart. Final seconds. I think he's going to get the layup off, and he does at the buzzer.
Nice. Way to get down there quick. Could have used that against the Lakers.
Yeah.
Remember that?
That was yet he was double that was I don't even talk about that sequence. But at the buzzer, Knicks up 10. And the ball
Let's see
is
if he
clearly
got
out of
it
his
off in
hands.
time. Yep. He got that off with 2.
So at 3 quarters in, Knicks are up 80-70. Not the most pretty game you'll see in NBA history, but more importantly, the Knicks are up. And hopefully, as I said before, can we get this to blowout territory?
I like our chances though up 10. You know, they made up for that very, very slow start to the quarter. And I believe they ended the quarter on like a good what did the lead get shrunk down to as much as
It
like
was
6?
17 to about 5 or 6.
Yeah, so
By the way, you mentioned this is a side topic. Fernando Cruz, as a
yeah.
Yankee and his impact, he struck out 4 batters in 2 innings.
Yeah, splitter was nasty.
But the Yankees, side note, are in a bit of trouble right now. Mark Leiter can't get outs.
Yeah, I'm seeing that right now too. Just launched one to the backstop.
I got to find out those NBA playoff dates. I have to look them up. NBA. I don't think they released them, but who knows? Playoffs begin April 19th, so it's a Saturday, I want to say.
I'm not fully sure.
But I'll check the calendar. Because April 20th is Easter, and that's a Sunday, so. So, looks like we're going to get back at it for the fourth quarter. Knicks up 80-70 at Madison Square Garden on the first night of a back-to-back.
Josh Hart with just such a heads-up play. Because here's the key: if he tries to dunk this,
Yeah, it wouldn't have counted.
Nope.
The quarter is ending and releases it. And then the
If that was Precious Achua, he would have airballed. But anyways, Kolek hands off to Achua. Achua looking for a handoff time. Achua trying to take Reese to the basket. Post up. Achua inside actually gets it to go.
Nice little left-handed hook.
82-70 as we commence the fourth quarter. Kyle Lowry defended by Tyler Kolek. Looking, finds his man, Edwards. Looking, finds Reese. Reese drives to the basket. Inside shot is just good with the bounce. Bringing up is Tyler Kolek. Kolek waiting for a precious screen, goes to his right. Kolek driving to the basket. Kolek stops inside, off the glass, no good. Put back by Achua, no good. Rebounded by Bagley. Walker has it. Walker to his right. Couple dribbles, loses the ball out of thin air. Stolen by Kolek. Here comes Achua in transition inside. Nice pass to Bridges and scores. Here is Kyle Lowry bringing it up. Gives to Lonnie Walker. Screen coming from Reese. Knicks trying to hedge. Walker drives right. Walker inside. Kicks out. Lowry wide open in the corner. In and out. Rebounded by Anunoby.
Ooh.
Kolek waits. Kicks. Shamet fakes. Three-pointers up. Three-pointers good. His fifth of the game.
Landry has found his shot.
And if I'm not mistaken, Landry Shamet is also a former Sixer. I could be wrong on that.
Yes, he is. You are correct about that.
Council, three-pointer. In and out again. Toilet bowl roll almost. Rebounded by Mikal Bridges.
There is a lid on their rim.
5 of 23 from 3. Kolek has it. Kolek drives left. Kolek inside, fakes, kicks out Anunoby. Corner, 3. Shots no good. Rebounded by Marcus Bagley. Lowry, high screen from Reese. Kicks inside. Council gets the easy bucket. Bridges just out of position that time. Here comes Kolek. Kolek drives left off the screen, fakes, kicks to the corner. Bridges loses it out of bounds. And you know what? You can't blame Kolek there because he's trying to make the right play. Achua's just going back to the perimeter. You have two guys on him. He has to make the pass. He knows Achua's not going to make the three.
Shamet, by the way, is up to 15 points, which is a season high.
Season high 3-pointers. I don't even know what his career high in three-pointers is, but who knows? Butler against Shamet. Hands off to Council. Knicks switch wings. Council versus Shamet. Council fakes. Turnaround jumper. No good. Rebounded taken by OG Anunoby. Anunoby up ahead of the pack. Anunoby inside. Throws it down. And the foul.
The Yankees are now losing by 3. They gave up a grand slam.
Anunoby with the stuff. I thought he was going to go for a dangerous fall, but still.
Hey, on his head?
Old-fashioned three-point play. I think I've said it. I don't think I've said it enough times tonight with OG Anunoby. And he knocks down the free throw to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. Knicks up by 16. This has been the most they've been up since the half. The start of the half, should I say. Butler fakes, three-pointers up. Three-pointer is no good. Tipped up in the air. Rebounded by the Sixers, Lonnie Walker. Walker drives in. Shot is up. No good. Rebound, OG Anunoby. Anunoby in transition. Stops. Anunoby slows it down. Gives back to Kolek. Kolek with a screen from Achua. Gives back to Anunoby. Anunoby inside. Loses the ball nearly, but is fouled by Wheeler that time. So he'll go to the line once again for 2. OG Anunoby increasing those drives. That could not be talked about enough.
Career high free throw attempts. 2 more here will give him 11. We embellish him with bulldozer for this.
Anunoby at the line for 2. He knocks down the first.
Now going around people. Frustrated from the free throw line. Philip Wheeler picks up the foul. 24 more points.
Anunoby for number 2.
Just an amazing stretch.
And he knocks it down.
We've seen the emergence of a consistent offensive threat.
Jared Butler will bring it up.
He's always felt that he has that potential.
Butler, defended by Kolek. Screen coming from Bona, left to the side. And floaters up. Floaters no good. Tipped up. No good. Rebounded by Tyler Kolek. Shamet. Bridges. Looking. Anunoby in the post. Defended by Walker. Has the mismatch. Anunoby turns. Nice pass to Achua. Achua inside. Shots blocked. No foul. Here comes Wheeler in transition. Inside of Butler. Butler along the wing. Kicks to Bagley. Bagley misses the 3. Nearly deflected by Anunoby. Rebound Achua. Tyler Kolek will bring it up. 7:47 to play. Kolek off the left. Off the screen. Kolek kicks. Shamet wide open. Misses. Rebounded by Bagley.
That was the cleanest look he was going to get all night.
Walker, step back three-pointer. Shot is no good. Tipped up. Rebounded by Precious Achua. Kolek will bring it up. A little slow pace now. Kolek off the left. Double screen here. Kolek fakes back to Anunoby. Anunoby handoff to Bridges. Bridges defended by Bagley. Screen coming to the right. Bridges fakes. Kicks out to Kolek. Kolek, three-pointers up. Three-pointer no good. Rebounded by Bona. Walker, as Josh Hart heads to the scorer's table. Walker 1-on-1, kicks to Bagley, back out to Wheeler. Wheeler driving on Anunoby inside, throws up a no-good shot, rebounded by Achua. Here comes Bridges. Bridges off the left screen, Bridges looking. Kicks, Kolek inside, nice pass, kicks out, Shamet for 3, bang! Landry Shamet downtown. 3, number 6 for Shamet.
He's up to 6 threes on the night.
Time out, Philadelphia. Maybe we could start to rest our guys now.
He is not discriminated tonight. He's been switching from the left and the right corner.
Dylan, you could have said any better. Couldn't have been a better time for this guy to come play.
Yep. He might find his way into some playoff minutes.
I think he should, honestly. I mean, I don't know how deep Tibbs is going to run his lineups, but got to give some depth. Because the honestly have Towns, yes, regular same starting 5. You have hopefully McBride's healthy. Campaign probably. Mitchell Robinson, so that's 8. Landry Shamit's 9. I might be missing somebody, but so far I can count a 9-man rotation. Hopefully the wheels start to fall off soon. It was a grand slam he gave up. Interesting. Again, folks, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe as well. Going to be live for the playoffs, so we'll keep you covered. Live streams, video recap videos as well. Recap videos for the remaining of the regular season. Might even throw a playoff preview in. Going to have to schedule that soon with the playoffs coming in, starting on April 19th. So it's all coming fast, folks. Time just continues to only come faster and faster. Passes by faster and faster, but this has been quite the grind. Regardless, the Knicks are up 21.
Starting into that blowout territory.
If you can will your way to a win, it's like this, fine. Obviously get the wins, but a blowout would be even more better because you rest your starters, as I've stressed enough.
Here at Madison Square Garden, Knicks have opened this one up a 21-point lead.
Landry Shamet with a plus 18. That's something you'd love to see.
6 3-pointers.
Driving left this time. Kicks out to Wheeler. Wheeler step back 3 and no good. Rebound Josh Hart. Knicks 17 points to the Sixers 4 in this quarter. Kolek has it. Kolek looking for a pass. He's actually going to get a screen to the right. Kolek looks. Corner 3. Shamet this time. No good. Shamet thought he was fouled.
It looked like he did get fouled there.
Walker kicks. Grimes drives to the basket. Fakes. Kicks out. That should have been a travel. He clearly jumped up in the air, and that is a travel.
They called it.
Grimes came in here with a lot of players shooting more in the NBA in the last 10 games.
And Nick Nurse is not happy about that call, but I saw it from how many miles away that was a travel. Kolek, regardless, has the ball, gives back to OG Anunoby. Anunoby goes left to the screen, pulls it back a little bit, gives back to Kolek, out to Anunoby. Anunoby has Bone on him, drives to the basket. Anunoby inside, shot's no good, but a foul again.
Just drawing fouls. That's what he's really gotten better at lately.
Knicks with a 21-point lead here late in the fourth quarter.
Kelly Oubre's out. Eric Gordon, Andre Drummond, Jared McCain.
Anunoby at the free throw line. He knocks down the first.
Who are playing and starting wouldn't be getting minutes. Such as the plight of this team and what has been just a disastrous season. They're still upset. They're 4-25 in their last 29 games.
And Anunoby knocks down his second free throw.
They sent to Oklahoma City.
97-74. Walker, one-on-one, gets Shamet. Gives to Bona. Bona looking for a handoff. Nice dish to Grimes. Grimes kicks to the corner. Wheeler drives, kicks back to Grimes. Nice ball movement here from Philadelphia. Grimes drives on Shamet inside, but a foul is called.
He's fouled. Key, of course, for Philly. If Joel Embiid's healthy, and Paul George is, and Tyrese Maxey, that is one of the most formidable trios in the entire NBA. Plus, Nick Nurse is an excellent coach, a championship coach.
52 starting lineups used this season. That's the most.
Starting with Embiid.
28 different players used.
19 games
And I was looking at the starting lineups I think it's called lineups.com prior to the game. The most commonly used lineup was not even with Joel Embiid. It was like the most commonly used lineup was only used for 4 games. That's nuts. Grimes knocks down the free throw. Here comes Kolek. Kolek drives left, and a foul is called on the floor against the Sixers. That is on Edwards. Knicks will get to inbound it.
This is their 52nd different starting lineup. An NBA record.
And here we go. Achua gets the handoff to Landry Shamet. Shamet's been hot tonight. Shamet, one-on-one, gives back to Achua. Achua looking for a man. 2 players cut to the basket, kicks. Right, drives the basket inside. Nice little scoop layup that time. 99-76.
Good move.
Quentin Grimes has it. Grimes one-on-one. Grimes against Cola. Kicks out to the corner. 3-pointers up. 3-pointers no good. Rebound DeLon Wright. Now, I think you should start, or at least we should expect, or at least we should want to see some people starting to be pulled already. Achua inside. Floater's no good.
The only true starter even on the floor is Hart.
That's true. Is a block shot that time by the Sixers. Grimes inside is fouled by Kolek.
Grimes 18 points, 5 assists, 6 of 15 from the field, and he's missed all 4 of his threes.
That's what Coleman has to do, folks. He's got to tighten up his D when these guys see him. They try to take him. So Grimes capitalizing this.
Grimes at the line for 2. His first one goes.
This is the first of a back-to-back. Tomorrow night on MSG, Knicks and the Cavaliers from Cleveland. Coverage begins at 6:30 next game night. Tip off at about 7:10.
Grimes knocks down the second.
This set up back-to-back. 3 back-to-backs to finish off the season in their last 8
Tyler
games.
Kolek will bring it up.
Some of the fans have hit for the night there. Others chanting P.J. Tucker.
Shamet fakes. Shamet drives the basket, pull up mid-range. Got it. Landry Shamet with a career night.
20 points on the night.
Grimes off the screen, fakes. Pull up 3. That's good. Quentin Grimes from downtown. But a little too late.
Quiet night from Grimes.
Tyler Kolek will bring it up. Kolek gives to Hart, back to Kolek. Kolek goes left to right off the screen, gives back to Hart. Hart drives to the paint. Hart floater is good, just rolls around. Here comes Lonnie Walker. Screen to the left, screen to the right. Walker fakes. Grimes has it. Right against Kolek. Left off the screen. Grimes pull up 3 this time. No good. Rebound Bona. Bona dumps inside Grimes. Layup is good, and the foul. I think we should start calling timeout and getting some other guys in.
That is what they want to do.
Good. Let's get those kids in. McCullough, Dadier. I mean, we really wouldn't call P.J. Tucker a kid, but Anton Watson as well. I'm going to check in some out-of-town scores at the very moment. Knicks are I'm sorry, obviously the Knicks are up 103-83. The Portland Trailblazers are up on the Atlanta Hawks 117-105 with about 4:53 to play in the fourth. Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks, a former NBA Finals matchup, 117-110. The Bucks are up on the Suns. The Orlando Magic and the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs are up 87-79 with 10:55 to play in the fourth. Chicago Bulls are blowing out the Toronto Raptors 102-79, having a little mid-off. 12 minutes to go in the fourth. The Golden State Warriors are up 93-91 on the Memphis Grizzlies, 3:56 to go in the third. And the Minnesota-Denver game commences at 10, so we won't see that for a bit. Ooh. Going to assume that the same players will come out. Hopefully not.
Yeah. They'll probably take Hart out.
For the early Junior Knicks Coaches Convention presented by Hospital for Special Surgery, the two-day conference dedicated to celebrating the passion and impact of youth basketball coaches. You can register at Knicks.com/coaches convention. Well, Tom Thibodeau on
Tibbs
the road.
has the fifth most, if I'm reading that right, fifth most coaching wins in Knicks franchise history. Looks like he's about to tie Pat Riley.
Red Holtzman, followed by Joe Lapchick, followed by Jeff Van Gundy. And then Tom Thibodeau and Riley will be tied. And Hubie Brown
About to be tied for fourth.
list.
Yep, the great Red Holtzman, folks. 613. I heard kids saying, what is number 613 for the Knicks?
Grimes at the free throw line. They put in Kevin McCullough Jr.
What was the best
to replace Josh Hart.
Red Holtzman as a coach?
Knicks up 19.
Treated everybody the same, Mike. One side
Kolek
rule.
hands off to Achua, back to Kolek. Hands to Shamet. Shamet drives, now passes to Achua. Achua was not there. Out of bounds, passes behind him. It'll be Sixers basketball.
Even in garbage time.
Sixers have 20 turnovers to the Knicks 19. Knicks usually rank one of the lowest teams in turnovers. They usually like taking care of the ball. Reese looking for a handoff. He finds Bagley defended by Kolek. Bagley to the paint. His floater's up, floater in and out. Rebounded by Bagley, takes it away from Achua and gets it to go.
Not sure if you've kept up on the Yankees, but they blew that lead in the eighth inning. They gave up a grand slam.
I think you were telling me that, and I just also
Yeah.
checked. It was Eugenio Suarez grand slam. 103-86. Council, Reese, handoff to Wheeler. Wheeler off the screen, driving on Achua inside. No good. Tip up, no good. Lost out of bounds. It is Knicks basketball.
DeLon Wright has impressed to the point where he's going to play important playoff minutes.
Yeah, has to.
Tyler Kolek will bring it up. Kolek off the left side, screened. Kolek looking, fakes, floater off the glass is good. Tyler Kolek.
Nice.
Nice move there in the paint.
7 points, 7 assists.
Butler gives to Council. Council on the drive on Shamet this time. Shot gets to go.
Gets inside, scores easily.
So ambidextrous, as been able to elude the Knicks tonight with the left hand.
So
Kolek, screen left. Actually goes left of the screen. Shamet corner three. No good. Rebounded by Reese. Inside. Council goes for the dunk. Bad transition defense there from Shamet.
will not be easy without Brunson. And again, the Knicks
Kolek has it, gives to Wright. Wright fakes the handoff. Wright drives left. Wright hands to Shamet. Shamet off a double screen, gives to Kolek. Kolek back to McCullough. McCullough one-on-one versus Bagley. McCullough, couple of dribbles. McCullough drives the paint inside. Layup in and out.
Oh,
Rebounded by the Sixers that time.
Council has it.
Inside goes Butler. Butler looking. Inside goes Bagley. Blocked that time, but a foul.
Bagley misses with a foul on McCullough.
Really thought that ball was going in.
I thought it was too.
First NBA points just recently. Battling back from that injury.
And a game ball from
Bagley knocks down the free throw.
County Knicks post-game coming up. Peter will have lots to say. He always does.
Shot is up. Shot is no good. That free throw and is tipped and taken by Landry Shamet.
The game's all here tonight, huh?
Full house. As the Knicks on their way to their 48th.
Kolek off the screen to the right. Kolek looking. Double teamed. Fakes inside. Shot's no good. Rebounded by Butler.
Against the teams under 500, they dominated in many cases.
Butler one-on-one. Drives to his right. Butler inside. Kicks to the corner. Wheeler for three. No good. Rebounded by Achua. And that will do it. Knicks will dribble it out. They will win 105-91 at Madison Square Garden. First night of a back-to-back with the Knicks playing tomorrow night versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Not the prettiest win you'll see, but it was a win regardless. The Knicks collect their 47th win of the season. But to go around, I'm going to pull this back. Dylan, final thoughts.
Yeah, it was a good win considering that they were missing a bunch of key guys. No Towns, no Brunson, and of course no McBride or Payne either. Landry Shamet, what a game he had. 20 points, 6 threes, I believe. I mean, unreal. He's been really, really getting it going lately, but that was the best game he's had. And Mitchell Robinson, of course, was great. He had a double-double. Great on the offensive rebounds, good with the blocks. OG Anunoby continuing his offensive excellence. Defense tightened up in the second half, which, it had that rough third quarter, but they made their mark back in the fourth quarter, and they never looked back. And really, too, I don't know if the Knicks trailed in this game, too. I honestly am not sure if they even trailed once in this game.
I don't think the Sixers had a lead once.
And I know the Sixers were missing pretty much everybody on their front, too, but, a win's a win. Their magic number now to get to that third seed is 3. So
That's right.
Very close. They're just about to clinch that spot. And, at this point, let's get to the end of the season healthy. Let's be in a rhythm and let's get to the postseason.
Absolutely. Great points all indeed. As I said, not the most pretty win for the New York Knicks. Regardless, they get it done. First half of a back-to-back. Tomorrow, a much tougher task in the Cleveland Cavaliers, that being with the Knicks out. Jalen Brunson, Miles McBride, and campaign. Hopefully, Karl Anthony Towns is back, and I think he will be back for tomorrow night's matchup. Regardless, folks, if you've been here and if you're new here in general, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Turn on the notification bell so you know when I go live or I drop a new video. I'll release some posts about my upcoming schedule. See when I can see if I could get one more Knicks stream in before the playoffs, and maybe try to throw in a playoff preview show. Regardless, from Dylan Backer to my left or my right, whatever you want to call it, from Fireside Knicks and Empire Sports Media, this is Luca Gajevich Prodich here from KnicksCast. I'll talk to you guys later. Let's go, Knicks.